Welcome everybody.
Welcome.
It's a little springtime spookiness with with the theremin in there. Get your dominoes, because it's Hatsune Miku.
It's
Hatsune
curious. It's curious why the theremin never caught on in popular music.
Yeah, those fuckers made it extremely scary.
Off-putting.
They made it that way. It didn't have to be like that. I feel like that's been implanted, and they gave it a bad rap, man.
It went quadruple platinum only on Halloween albums. Like, it's like really we need to take it back. We need to liberate the theremin as an instrument.
Yeah, I bet they use a theremin like on Ghost albums. I bet that's the only place it gets used. I bet those fucking dorks have definitely used a theremin.
yeah, they got like 15 guitar pedals hooked up to one, so it's actually the shredding theremin, which is kind of a distinct instrument at that point. Yeah, man, I'm feeling
Theremin's
fucking
like a goth koto.
It's like the koto's way more haunting. Don't compare the poor theremin to the accursed instrument.
You have to dig several layers deep to discover the true horror of the koto, like we have, But if you just look at it, if you're not attuned to the horrors of this world, then
Babby's first scary instrument.
Yeah, exactly.
The theremin. Whereas we know that there's a spectrum from the theremin all the way to the koto, and there are other
it's like a picture. It's like the picture of the iceberg, where like the top of the iceberg is like, okay, yeah, theremin is spooky.
If you wet your finger and then rub it on a wine glass, that's on there.
Yep, that's up there.
I said spoons, musical spoons, spooky, but in the right context.
The water, what's it called? The sound effect they use in reality shows a lot. That whatever that's called. And then down the iceberg you get like what's actually scary, the oboe, the koto.
Yeah, see, because they sound alike. So sometimes somebody will say oboe, and I think they said koto, and I'll let a little bit of
that alone makes it very scary. Yeah,
yeah.
It sounds like that other thing.
I can't even look at an oboe because somebody says it sends shivers down my fucking spine.
Mm-hmm.
What did you have a festive Patty's Day, my friend? Did you?
I didn't. No, I didn't. No, I didn't do anything. I made some Irish stew, but that was a few weeks ago, so I was really
You couldn't wait.
I think I did drink, but I don't think that was because of St. Patty's Day. I think that was because it was a Friday.
That's the most Irish thing you could have done.
That is
just drink
true.
For no reason. Just drink for no reason and stumble around mumbling. I did not do anything terribly in the spirit, I'm afraid to say. Which, it's like fucking St. Patrick's. Everybody has to remind me. There are some holidays nobody has to remind you are coming. Like the ones with the fixed dates obviously make it easy. Yeah. But then, even then, there are some that I get kind of like a little bit excited about. Fucking St. Patrick's Day is one of the lamest holidays. I have never really cared for it at all.
Well, I mean, it's how lame can it be since like nobody cares about it? It's like you can pay no attention to it and you barely notice it's there. It's not like you have to like. It's not like you have to buy, whatever it is. Irish people like.
Believe me, I'll never buy anything an Irish person's selling. That's for sure.
No. What do they make over there?
What do they make? Guinness is pretty good. Now that I think about it, I might have to I might have to take some things back. I might have to undo some horrible things that I've just said about the Irish people because I get a good head on a Guinness.
Where does shepherd's pie come from? Is that British? If shepherd's pie is British, then Ireland really has nothing. Truly nothing going.
Sounds Scottish. Sounds like a Scottish dish. So
True.
British, yeah.
So what's the origin of the shepherd's pie? Is like a perfect food. Where'd that come from?
Yeah, it is one of the best.
Place of origin: Britain or France. No one's quite sure, but it's sure as hell isn't the Irish. Another L, fellas.
Well, I'm definitely not going to give that to the fucking frogs.
We'll find something you guys invented someday.
Yeah, you have funny voices, and that's to be cherished. You guys sound really, really ridiculous, and I like that about you. They do have good cider. They have good cider there. Everything I know about Irish.
I don't know.
Boy. Oh, sorry, Irish people, for catching some unnecessary strays. That was not my intention.
Things Ireland invented.
All right. I'm going to just look at pictures of Ireland while you're doing that.
Color photography. See,
that's pretty good.
Okay, yeah.
Is it color photography with a U? Because that doesn't count. If it's color,
it is with a U. It is with a U.
Yeah, see, no, that's not real. Can't give him that one.
The guided torpedo. That's number 2. Is the torpedo.
It
steers.
I'm gonna take both of those for America. Those are both ours. You can try to claim them, but I'm pretty sure we got both.
These are all like late 1800s. I'm like, yeah, didn't everyone in Ireland move to America by this point? The hypodermic syringe. Okay, so we're already at the substance, the drugs.
Abuse.
Yeah.
Okay.
The binaural stethoscope, which I assume was invented to deal with the after effects from inventing the hypodermic syringe.
Yeah, that's exclusively for manipulating women into pretending that you're a doctor. Like that's exclusive. It's a plaything, not an actual medical tool.
The ejector seat, which is very Irish, I assume that was used to get away from, like your wife and kids.
I'm gonna hop in the old ejector seat and pop on across the pond and never see my family again.
Oh, the submarine was invented. I like that was invented after the torpedo.
Yeah,
so like they had we need something to launch these fucking things out of, don't we? Oh, just
this is really just people fucking around too. They're like, I took a fucking bucket and put it over my head, and now I'm underwater. Isn't this nuts?
Oh, I bet you a pint you won't get in this big piece of metal under the water.
Oh.
The bacon rasher, no one knows what that is. The cream cracker. I think that's what they call them, I think. I don't think that's an invention. Flavored potato crisps. Oh, invented by Joseph Spud Murphy.
Fuck yeah.
Nice.
Oh, founder of Tato? I've been seeing a lot about Tato recently. I've been watching these.
I thought that was a made-up Fallout brand. Tato's.
I have been watching trashy YouTube videos where celebrities compare American or whatever their home country snacks are to UK snacks.
Oh, I think
I've been seeing
something like that. Yeah.
I've been seeing a lot of Tato's, and they sound great. They got fucking onion powder and cheese on them.
Nice.
Sounds awesome. I've rewatched a seminal work of film history, Declan.
You've rewatched 2 seminal works this week, then.
I have reappraised what is I think universally regarded as one of, if not the best movies, one of the best, if not the best movie ever made, Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift.
You're going back through the Fast and Furiouses.
Holy shit, buddy. I tell you what, that's a rip-roaring good time still. I've talked about it before, so I won't go into too much detail. But
and I feel like we also had this. I feel like I asked this exact question of you recently, but I feel like you've seen that movie like 6 or 7 times, and you watch it like every year or so. Is that not the case?
Oh yeah, I probably watch it every other year. Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
But
I feel like at this point you should remember every single beat of it.
I do. I could list every single scene in order. But more importantly, I saw another seminal masterwork from one of our finest American auteurs. Boy, actually watched two of them, but I rewatched Transformers: Revenge of the Fallen.
Is that
I watched
the
second one.
Oh, okay.
Holy shit, dude! It is. When I was watching the movie, I thought to myself, this marks the end of a period of time. This is the end of an era of movies where no movie no blockbuster film has been as crass as that movie is. It is unbelievably crass. The film it's loaded to the fucking rim.
All I remember is like John Turturro running around, and they go to the pyramids, and I think there's a robot that tries to like rape Megan Fox or something, or was it a different girl?
So there are so many sexual things going on in this movie. It's loaded with them.
Besides Optimus Prime,
the most sexual being of all. So fucking Megan Fox gets her leg humped by a little robot. There's dog humping twice. They go for the same dog humping joke twice. So like they're like, hey, get off of them, as dogs are wont to do. It's like, hey, stop humping this other dog. Mm-hmm. And then there's a cutaway before like a big explosion where there's dog humping again. Mr. Shia LaBeouf is violated by a robot lady with an extremely long tongue that reaches down into his stomach.
What?
Yeah, there's like a sexy robot lady who's
there's like an android lady? That's weird.
Yeah, she's like going undercover to try to get information out of Sam Witwicky. And so she like seduces him and then puts her tongue down his throat and into his stomach or whatever. Which I don't know if that was necessarily imperative to her mission. She just kind of does it. They got fucking who's the bumpkin from The Office? God.
Bumpkin. Oh, is it like
they got Dwight Schrute from The Office, who's a professor at Sam Witwicky's university. And he's talking about how he's like all his entire lecture that he's giving is like a prolonged innuendo, and he's winking at his students and talking about how they got nubile young minds.
It's again kind of it sounds kind of funny. Maybe it's not, but
it's one of the better instances of that in the movie because it's got like some semblance of effort put into it because he's trying, and at least it's like kind of like a gag rather than just dog humping. But in the scatological humor, oh my god, it's constant poop and pee, and then they've got Tom Kenny voicing a horrible racial stereotype black robot.
I thought there were two.
There are two. One of them is Tom Kenny.
See, I remember that's the one. I remember everyone having a problem with those. I didn't see the problem there. They're not black; they're robots.
It is like somebody watched 30 seconds of the TV show Yo Mama. Do you remember Yo Mama?
Kind of, yeah.
And then they just like cranked it up to like 11. It's like minstrelry, really. It's close.
Wasn't the like the reason for that like they like learned, they like got their human knowledge from the internet, which is why they talk like that or something like that?
It's possible. It's I was aghast. And my sensibilities. I am not easily. They got giant fucking ears, huge wide noses. And
I didn't know that part.
And they got grills, and it's like it's crazy. And they're like talking about popping caps and asses and
Well, yeah, everyone's talking like that. I mean, I remember Optimus Prime saying "punk ass Decepticon." That's like his first line in the movie. I was like, what the? I remember the big thing with that movie was that it was written during a writer's strike, So I think it was just like written by Michael Bay or like it was written by like not writers or something.
So it's a crazy movie, and I watched the IMAX version. So it like alternates between aspect ratios. So it goes from like, extremely wide 235 to 16:9 back to 235. And any action set piece that is in 235 is basically impossible to follow. There is it is impossible to figure out what the fuck is going on. It's like nauseating. And there was definitely, what's funny? I say all of this.
Oh, God,
however,
it's written by Alex Kurtzman. Jesus.
I say all of this. However, Shia LaBeouf, outstanding in that movie. I also watched the first one. Outstanding in both those movies, and the actor is playing his family, also outstanding. That core cast of 3 characters there are terrific. Tyrese Gibson is in it. He gets to say about 5 lines in both movies.
Cool.
And he's great. I also watched Too Fast, Too Furious recently. He's great in that too. I love Tyrese Gibson.
Oh
but that's it. Yeah, I haven't seen it since the theaters in 2009, and I was like trying to make jokes about how crass the movie was while I was watching the movie, and every time I tried to do that, it immediately went into another joke that was like somebody getting pissed on or somebody like shitting their pants.
It immediately just one-upped you.
And I couldn't keep up with it. It was and like that's like I'm sure I'm going to watch the third movie. I am certain that there's none of that in the third movie. That feels like totally a product of its era. It's like the logical conclusion to Butt Ugly Martians, or like the logical conclusion to Real Monsters, where it's like, what if the dude's entire body was an ass, but like taken and given $200 million or whatever for a budget.
I just remember everyone being so bronzed. Everyone's so bronzed. So
dude, the contrast.
Some sun. Yeah.
Everyone is bronzed. The contrast is cranked up to 1 billion. Everything is orange or blue to the extreme.
Yes, that was that was the peak of orange and blue. I think that was the one. That was the movie that really kind of made people notice, and maybe they tuned it down a bit.
Jody, the thing is that like, I no matter what the third movie is going, I have not seen. I saw that in theaters too.
Which was the one that we watched, and we were flipping between that and Twilight and going insane. Was that the fourth one?
That's the fourth one. Yeah, that was a hell of an experience. That was at Matt's place.
That's a fever dream. Yeah.
Holy shit, that was wild.
Oh god.
But the thing is that 3 is going to be underwhelming because it's never, the third movie can't be good. No. Like so it can't be as interesting as 2 is, because 2 is just like when you watch it and you're experiencing it, your mind is racing as you're trying to comprehend everything. It's just like 3 is going to be. I mean, maybe I'll be wrong. Maybe I could be pleasantly surprised, and 3 is equally crazy. But no Megan Fox in the third movie.
Yeah,
man. Anyway, you seen any movies recently, my friend?
Nope.
No.
Nope.
You just been watching that Japanimation?
Yeah. Well, a little bit of it.
Anything else going on in your life?
I'm just, I'm just collecting sap from trees, and I'm hanging out.
You're just vibing.
Yeah.
Just vibing.
Just vibing. Yeah, we're back on the benzos. Very important. That's great.
Oh, good.
That's good news.
Been enjoying that?
Oh, yeah. Yes, very much so. And so everything's going great.
Back at the benzos.
I'm back to being. Yeah, I'm JBP pilled. I went the opposite direction of him. I went back onto the benzos, and so my tweets are going to get way better. I'm doing the inverse of him.
I didn't quite understand the one that you made about practicing your coronets. Can you explain this tweet to me?
Oh, I was making a lot of coronet images with Stable Diffusion.
Oh, that was Stable Diffusion. Oh, I see.
Yeah, those are AI. Did you not notice?
Oh wow, no, they did a good job.
Oh shit. Yeah.
No, I don't even know what would. I figured that those were somebody drew them.
No. I was fine tuning my Coronets.
I think you've done a terrific job, my friend.
Oh, thank you.
You have a bright future in manufacturing bootleg images
In,
of e-girls.
In writing a lot of tags and then deleting some of the tags and then putting parentheses around some of the tags to make them stronger. Because if you try to put her in a t-shirt, sometimes it puts a strap because it thinks it's a tank top, and then you have like a t-shirt with one shoulder falling down, but then there's a strap going up. It doesn't make any goddamn sense. You need to really be specific with it. But yeah.
Well, I think you've really dialed in,
if you try to do a non-standard image, if you do like a generic like half-naked girl just sort of posed in a room or whatever, that one's easy. I was like, I want Coronet as like a race queen, like the flag girl, in a car race, standing in front of the car. Oh my god, that one was a bitch. I only like sort of got it. She's still like holding some weird object that's like kind of a bag. She's got half an umbrella on her leg, but it looks somewhat.
Let me get a close look at this thing here, because I was just looking at.
You didn't look. Yeah, I mean, that's what AI images like. You look at them. If you know what to look for, you can figure it out. As soon as you look at any like small detailed objects, you'll realize that they don't make any sense, or clothing will like morph into itself at weird.
Yeah, her sunglasses are a little fucked up. And
it has trouble with sunglasses and glasses.
To me, that just looked like a corset on her leg. That looked like a fancy corset.
It's a corset that turns into like half of a mini skirt, but it's just on the leg.
It's high fashion. I don't understand anything about it. I think that's like a hip look.
Yeah, I mean, that's what's good about these images is that like if you're a guy, you don't understand like fashion. So you're just like, yeah, she's got a weird fucking little thing on her leg there. That's cool. I don't know.
I want to cop her fucking look in the one with the boat in the background. She's got the fucking grip in that.
Oh, yeah. I was like, okay, got to do mechanic girl. Yes, that's use the tag jumpsuit for that one. And
yeah, those are $500 pants. Those
are some crazy designer. Yeah.
The way that they caress her behind, but at the same time they don't constrict her legs. They're functional, but also sexy.
True.
It's really amazing. Oh man, I need one more beer before we talk about Valvrave.
Get yourself
assuming
a beer,
you're ready.
Friend.
Assuming you're ready.
Oh, how embarrassing!
Forgive me.
So unprofessional. That's just terrible. How would you do that? Why would you do that? Why would you do that to me? Hold on, let me show you. Okay. I'm talking about him. I might as well get it on the screen. This is what I made. See?
Oh my goodness, dude! What a world!
What a wonderful world we live in.
Yeah.
So a while ago, we got to talking about how many shows we've seen that are now 10 years old.
Correct.
Big milestone, I mean, a lot of the seasonal shows that I have seen, that I have fond and whatever the opposite of fond memories of, are 10 years old or older. So we were like, hey, it's 2023. Let's do something that's exactly 10 years old. What was going on in 2013? 2013, very important year. We were both pretty well into anime. I started watching seasonal anime in 2011.
Yeah.
So we were well into the swing of things. I sort of had, I had a good grip on this stuff. I was a regular, and so we were looking through 2013 shows. There's some good stuff in there, but really, I think one of the more important, maybe not important, but at least indicative. We want to do something that was very of its era, and yeah, what could be better than Kakumeiki Valvrave?
I think that this encapsulates the essence of the year 2013.
It encapsulates so much about really a whole era that goes before and beyond 2013, because it's unless there's something I'm forgetting, I feel like in the attempt to recreate the magic of Code Geass, which was something that was tried. It's like a lost technology, like how they don't know how, like in ancient Rome, they made that crazy glass that glows or whatever the fuck. It's like, maybe it was after Rome. It doesn't matter. Oh, actually, you know what? I just thought of a fourth one. But there's a holy, not trinity, a quadrilogy of shows that they tried to recreate Code Geass with. The first one that I'm really familiar with would be Guilty Crown, followed by this Valvrave, and I'll Know a Zero,
yes,
and Kabaneri of the Iron Fortress, all train wrecks in different ways. This, Guilty Crown was just sort of a mess. It was kind of a bummer. It was convoluted. I'll Know a Zero was just bland and kind of uninspired, and just disappointing. Kabaneri, same thing. It had decent trappings, but overall pretty not memorable. And this, well, I was wrong about. I remembered at some point that it went off the rails. What actually happens is that there were never any rails. They are like, what if we made a show without rails? We don't even start on any rails, and the rails are just a dream far away from rails.
They slapped jet engines onto a storage unit and just let it go. They're like, this is our train. I hope you enjoy your ride. I hope you have fun in this adventure.
This is like like an uncontacted tribe in sub-Saharan Africa seeing like a picture of an airplane and then like trying to make one out of by strapping a campfire to a tree, and and
it is. God, how do I even
this
describe
is a cargo cult show. It's like they're trying to summon Code Geass, and by like sacrificing everything, their brains, their souls, everything's gone.
I'm convinced that anybody wrote this. I think that this is. I think that they.
You want to talk about who wrote this?
They started drawing. Go ahead.
Just start drawing. Well, if you're talking about who's writing this, let's talk about the pedigree of this fucking show. Because obviously it's Sunrise. Okay, you're making a robot show. Sunrise. This is directed by Ko Matsuo, future director of Gundam Thunderbolt. I forget how that one was received. Director of Rose and Maiden, both seasons, and the OVA. Something called Red Garden. I'm not sure what that is. Yozakura Quartet, the 2008 one. Interesting. Okay, that's one thing. Series composition by a fella named Ichiro Okochi. Now this guy, this was the best one for me to read. Okay, you want to hear about Ichiro Okochi? Series composition for Code Geass. Makes sense.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
All right. He was trying out some new stuff. He was branching out. Screenplay for 18 episodes of Code Geass. Original story, Code Geass and Code Geass R2. Original creator, Code Geass. He's the Code Geass guy.
Yes.
Script for Heavy Object. Awesome show. Series composition and screenplay for Kabaneri of the Iron Fortress. He tried it again. He gave it another shot later.
You gotta go for it.
Now here's where it starts to get weird. Series composition and screenplay for Azumanga Daioh. Okay.
Yes. All right.
But, this guy is a Renaissance man. Chief script supervisor for Berserk: The Golden Age arc. Script for Devilman Crybaby. Series composition, Mobile Suit Gundam: The Witch from Mercury. That's the new one, I think.
It is the new one.
Series composition and script for Planetes.
More importantly, he is a series composition for Skate the Infinite.
That was the last one I had. Yeah.
Skate the Infinity.
Skate the Infinity.
Yeah.
That was the best one.
Sorry for bursting your bubble.
Yeah, you spoiled that was the good.
I'm sorry.
You couldn't resist.
Come on. How it's I want my dessert first.
Yeah,
Damn it.
Well, yeah, you're keto. You have a sweet tooth, dude.
Oh, I need it all. Boy, am I getting my fill.
Series composition and screenplay for Princess Principal, which was good. Shigo Fumi, which is on our 2 watch list. And 5 episodes, screenplay for 5 episodes of Razifon, which we'll get to one day, TM. So that's crazy. Oh my God, what are you doing?
I'm so sorry. I'm a burpy boy.
And the final big name here is, so the original creator credit for this show is Hajime Yatate. Original creator, Armored Trooper Votoms, the classic seminal, I think 1980 mecha, like one of the most important mecha ever. Also old school. This guy's a fucking geezer, and he's writing Valvrave. And original creator of Aikatsu, the like idol magical girl franchise that's gigantic.
The more that you say these things, the more that everything comes into focus.
It almost kind of makes sense how little sense it makes. Yeah.
It's like it feels like you have a bunch of people with a lot of experience and a lot of pedigree who want to make completely different things that are not related to each other at all.
Quite possibly. Yeah. Or they just sometimes you don't mesh. You know, I don't know.
Yes, absolutely. Especially in a creative field, it's like
or they're just thinking about like all these guys have created things that are so popular and so marketable that maybe they're thinking in terms of just audience acceptance rather than actually having a coherent good thing,
It's clear that coherency was never part of the mission statement. Coherency was never an idea.
And hey, it doesn't have to be. But you have to have some kind of structure in some way. If it doesn't have to make sense, but it has to. Well, we'll get to it. But this guy,
we gotta get started. We just gotta start talking about
the ideas, man. I just got it. This guy is original creator and original concept credits for, Votoms, Aikatsu, Code Geass, Cowboy Bebop, original story Gintama, although that was an adaptation, original creator Idolmaster Xenoglossia, the Idolmaster mech show, original creator Love Live, original creator Mobile Suit Gundam, and pretty much every other Gundam. My Hime, Feebrain, Kami no Puzzle, Outlaw Star, Sacred 7, Creed, whatever that show is, Tiger and Bunny, Escaflowne. Big names, in case you weren't already convinced. So, yes, I was very excited to revisit this. We both watched, we've both seen the entire first 12 episodes of this before, but we went back and we revisited it. Oh, by the way, I need to retitle the stream. This is part 1. We're only doing season 1 this time.
We must do the second season.
Oh, dude,
we must. When I finish this
weekend.
12th episode, I'm like, I will not be satisfied.
Yeah.
The loop must be closed. I need to know where this beautiful ride goes.
I am very excited to get into the uncharted territory. I believe I watched 4 episodes of season 2, and then just I was overwhelmed.
For background, how much of this did you remember? What were the things that you recalled?
Once it happened, I remembered it, But there were things that when I remembered them, I was like, oh yeah, right, that happens. And then there were some things that happened and I remember them and I was like, oh my fucking God, I cannot believe that happened, and I remember it, but holy shit.
I It
Yes.
feels like I'm remembering parts of like 5 different shows. Like when I would get to something, I'd be like, "Wait, what?" Like, "Oh, like wait, this is right. Like this is where we're at
All
now."
of
And,
these are from this show. Yeah.
it's crazy. It's
I also loved seeing. I kept seeing things that I regularly see as reaction images, and when you see a reaction image like on like on Twitter or like on forums or whatever, you never think about where it came from, and I was like, oh shit, that's that GIF of her hitting the keyboard and freaking out. I was like, oh yeah, that's this show. Like when I watched Wanted, and it's when he's fanning himself and sweating. I'm like, oh, that's where that people post that when they're horny. I remember that one. That's that movie,
Of course.
But yes, I was very excited because like we've been podcasting for long enough now that we can do shows like this that would have been like a bit too recent when we first started. Like we would have loved to have done Valvrave in like 2015, but it's like it's like that show was like 2 years ago, like whatever. But now
we also have we've wizened with age. It's wizened. Like we've wizened.
We're so much wizard now. This episode has to be called 10 Years Wizard.
I'm whizzing all over. It's like I'm in a Michael Bay movie.
There you go. Yeah.
I'm whizzing all over the place.
So
good Christ.
Sometimes we do shows and we don't want to go through every single beat of every episode because it takes too long. We are going to, and I'm very excited for it because every beat of this is worth mentioning. We need to document this forever. I'm going to take this podcast and put it on a USB stick and bury it in my backyard because this shit is important.
Call NASA, have them shoot that bitch into space. I mean,
God.
Press this shit onto a record.
Quick tangent. One of the best concepts for a VTuber, possibly ever, that I've recently discovered. There's a girl who just watches rocket launches. And she gets so excited about the rockets. And like if the rocket explodes, she cries.
Talk about knowing your audience, man.
That's so cute.
Perfect.
And it's like fucking they never even try to these people would care so much more about space shit if you had stuff like this, going on more. When the SRBs decouple, she goes, "Arigato, SRB-san." It's she's great. I had no idea how many fucking rockets they're launching. There's like a rocket launch every day. Did you know that?
Wait, so she's watching live? I thought she was like watching the archive.
She watches them live.
What is her name?
Her name is some, Japanese pun, something Kudia, like launch clear, Kudia. What's her name?
Usia Clear.
Yes.
Usui Clear. All right. All right. I'm adding that to my to-watch list.
Yeah.
Okay. Usually we don't go in excruciating, agonizing detail over every little element, but we have to. Like, it's not.
It's all good. It's all good.
Yeah, this is not optional.
No. You can't just talk about the overall structure of the show. It's like, no, you don't understand. We open on a yakisoba eating contest. I was like, I remember the I thought they were hot dogs, but yeah, it's like the yakisoba pan eating contest. I was like, yes, I remember that happening. That's the first scene of the show. I forgot that part. It opens on our protagonist and his childhood friend, love interest, in a sandwich eating competition. Well, I mean, technically, we open on the introduction that there is a third galactic Reich, which, already subtlety is out the window. They're just the third galactic Reich, which means there were 2 other galactic Reichs. So it all starts coming back to me. 70% of humans have left Earth. And yes, our main characters are Haruto, and he has a Osana Najimi named Shoko, and
Yes.
they're eating sandwiches, and they live on this colony. There's a group of delinquents infiltrating the colony. Meanwhile, everyone's cheering on this hot dog eating competition, and we're also introduced to Hikikomori Girl, whose name we find out later is Akira. She's voiced by Aoi Yuki. It's funny how even this much time later, like pretty much all these voice actors. First of all, the voice cast is stacked, obviously. Pretty much everyone's still in work. You see everyone regularly. Obviously, Yuki Kaiji's in here. Jun Fukuyama is still in here. And Kana what's her name? The Symphogear lady. I wrote it down here somewhere. We'll figure it out later. So our main sort of rival here is one of the funniest names ever. Elf. Edu Edufu. Edu Edufu. Yes, all these this group of like specialized soldier guys working for the enemy all have this format of name. Nobody else does, but they're all letter and then weird sound afterwards. So
we're talking H-Num, A-Dre.
Yes, A-Drai, Edufu, X, or no.
There's
Cuvier and X Eins. So they're all like maybe semi-German sounding.
LF is one of the more perplexing like series of letters that you could smash next to each other. It just doesn't really roll off the tongue in a way that you would want.
Yeah, it's too silly of a name to give a main character who you're trying to take seriously. His name's
trying to, for sure.
And it's especially silly when Jun Fukuyama, if you want to pronounce Edu Edufu like Jun Fukuyama, you have to yell it while not closing your mouth at all. I kept a counter. In this first season, Jun Fukuyama does his famous 3 times, I think. You could make so many drinking games out of this fucking show. I wrote my drinking game rules down in my notes somewhere. We'll get to those.
Okay.
So Edu Edufu, I wrote that he fills a guy immediately. Freudian slip. He kills a guy.
Well, it's because he's so pretty. You want to see him filling guys. That's for sure.
I really don't. Yes, so they're breaking in. There's something going on. Did I get a shot at someone's phone was saggy? I was like, that's weird. Why does her phone look like that? Haruto is way too much of a pussy off the bat. Again, big problem with these attempted Code Geass shows. It's like, why make him the standard anime MC? Look at that saggy phone. What the fuck is going on with that?
I'm waiting for
why make him a bitch?
Oh, it is saggy. Oh, they got a limp phone. That's not ergonomic.
Well, she's disappointed. Yeah, she lost her vigor. But then he switches. It's like maybe he's not too much of a pussy because he tells Shoko that she's cute right off the bat. There's layers. I don't know what's going on. Shoko has
is what we'll call it.
Yeah. Well, yeah. That's not as inconsistent as we're gonna get. That's light. Shoko has a sort of kudere, friend girl who looks out for her. That type of character. I swear there was a character just like that in something we watched recently that I was trying to figure out who she reminded me of, and I think it might have been this girl. LL says, I'm just gonna say Lelf from now on. because I like that. Lelf says some nonsense shit about the weight of the school to indicate that he is smart. So that was right off, like, that's the type of, writing we're starting with, is that he like guesses the weight of the school by looking at it, and he intuits something about what's underneath it from that.
He has to know everything at all times.
Yes.
He has to. He is written to know every single thing, and we're supposed to be impressed that he knows every single thing.
And he doesn't really do that again. He's supposed to be good at planning and anticipating things, which, okay, you can have him be a good strategist, and he's good at CQC, but this weird, like, almost mystical, like, him just knowing stuff like that.
He's like prophetic at times, where
yeah.
he designs guides to how a battle will unfold down to the T, and it's like, well, come on.
Yeah.
Like, come on. Like there's no the genius of a strategist is the ability to adapt to the situation. Like, it's not like he's gonna fucking understand every single possible. I don't know. Whatever. Why am I even trying? Why am I even trying? It's Valvrave.
And then, Lelf and his gang are breaking into this thing beneath the school, but on their way, he overhears Haruto talking about how nobody should fight and we all should get along, which pisses off Lelf and makes him lay some real shit on him, which I kind of liked that interaction, actually, unironically. I was like, okay, that was like we've established two characters sort of, and they have a clash of philosophies. It's like, okay,
he fucking owns her with facts and logic, bro. He fucking pwns her.
It's two dudes.
Haruto, rather. Sorry, he fucking pwns Haruto with facts and logic. Yeah,
and also by hitting him and knocking him to the ground.
Well, it's like really Haruto has. He does his worldview is so fucking razor thin and so lacks any real depth that it could be fucking popped by a needle. It's like a fucking balloon. It's like you have somebody who's
that's
like
okay. You could do that if it's supposed to be like him going from naive, just like pussy boy, to having some kind of like coming of age aspect where you put him through hardship and he learns things. So, but
that's what you think is going to happen. Like,
yes.
You think that there's going to be this like profound sort of change in his character.
Yeah, you think there's going to be a sort of like a believable sort of maturation. Thank you. Where he sees things and then he learns things from the things that he sees.
No, but he just turns himself into a pawn. Basically, he just gives up his own sort of sense of self eventually. But you'll get there.
Technically, that is also what happens in Code Geass, but in a more. It's weird to call Code Geass like subtle or something, but it's just like it's dumber, because Lelouch gives up his humanity in a way, because when you have magic powers and you can tell people what to do, then the people aren't real to you, and then you lose when you lose your relationship to other people, you sort of lose yourself. And that is smart compared to what's going on in here, where he skipping ahead a little bit, but he just he turns into a vampire.
just to skip ahead a smidge here. So to jump to one of the less insane twists that occurs in this series.
That's not even the most insane thing that happens in this episode.
Yeah, one of the more grounded things. Well, this is an episode. Well, okay, first episode. In this episode, my fucking man thinks that his childhood friend died, so he just jumps into a goddamn robot. He just sees this robot and gets in that bitch.
Yes. Okay. And I sympathize a little bit because mech shows are tough. The first episode of mech shows are really tough because are probably like contractually obligated by like the publisher or the producer or whoever. Like, you have to get the guy inside a fucking robot in the first episode. That's like non-negotiable, and that's hard to get a normal person that a viewer relates to into a giant robot in a way that's believable in 24 minutes.
Right.
I sympathize with that. Okay, I get that you have to do that, and that's rough. I can forgive a certain amount of it, but he watches the love of his life die. He thinks, and he's really angry, and then he gets inside a robot immediately.
I couldn't even believe it. I'm like, wait, why did he get in the robot? I'm like, wait,
he thinks this is going to help something. I don't.
You blink for 2 seconds, and then there's a robot on the screen, which he's in, and you're like, whoa.
Yes.
Like, where the fuck? How the fuck did we get here? And then he presses the button that says he's going to give up his humanity, which is awesome.
It's a yes or no prompt. Yeah, it's like, give up your humanity. Yes, no. He's like, hell yeah.
Which I
also like that for 5 minutes he sees that prompt and he's like, maybe I can get it to work without that. You give up, you sell your soul, and he's like, maybe I can drive this thing without doing that.
I don't know. I like my soul. I that's my favorite, unironic favorite part of the show is that asking somebody to give up their humanity is lit as hell. That's a dope question to ask somebody. Which I'm gonna ask all my future girlfriends that, like when I propose to them.
That's your Tinder opener is give up your humanity Y/N ? And if they reply with anything other than Y or N, you block them.
Exactly. Yeah, that's a good way to get yourself a bunch of girls who are really into tarot cards. Like that's a surefire way to the tarot promised land. Anyway, so he gets in the goddamn. There's an attack from the Luftwaffe.
Yeah, they're attacking this big dome floating in space, and not obviously the show isn't getting very deep into it, but really it's very noticeable that this is just not how war works whatsoever. You don't just roll into like a civilian town and just start blasting schools for no fucking reason, for no like strategic gain whatsoever. You don't just start blowing shit up indiscriminately.
Do they know about the Valvraves at this point?
No, that's a secret.
Okay, so yeah, there's no reason to attack this school full of civilians. That's not really how you win hearts and minds. You don't really
if you don't want to win hearts and minds, it's like you don't have to. If you want to take it over, you take over the government and military and police like control centers, and you're just like, yeah, those guys are. You don't even have to kill anyone or imprison anyone. You just send them the fuck home. You're like, we're stronger. You go out of here. And you just let everyone do what they were doing before, You let them go to school.
That's what happens. You know what happens? That happens in fucking Legends of Galactic Heroes.
Yeah.
God damn it, the Republic is dissolved, and as a result, they don't continue the war. They don't go and kill civilians. They're just like, hey, you're now working under us, and you're go about your lives as they were, and we're gonna figure out what to do with your government now.
It's like the Nazis didn't blow up Paris for just drop bombs everywhere. They just rolled in. They were like, "This is ours now."
Yeah,
and everyone
they went there for photo
right.
ops. They were hanging out in front of the Eiffel Tower and shit.
They just hung a bunch of flags everywhere, and they were like, "All right, cool, we're done."
That's nice. We'll be back for you later. Let's.
You guys got any beaches? So yeah, dumb war is happening. Another character interaction that I actually did like is that Shoko like white knights for Haruto, like she sticks up for him, which is like an unusual sort of dynamic. I kind of liked that. She's a ride or die Osana Najimi.
She is, in fact.
And yes, so Yuki Kaiji is the crazy little redheaded guy who kills people. They're trying to take. Oh no, they do know about the Valvrave because that's what they're trying to steal. Okay, so they do know. But I guess maybe they don't know what it's capable of because they act like they don't know what the fuck it does later. But they know it's some kind of robot or weapon. I don't know. But they shoot these scientists.
They're attacking the school.
Yeah. There are scientists like actively doing something to this robot underground. I don't know why. But they kill those scientists. But then one of them, as he's dying, sends the robot up to the surface, just right next to where our protagonists are. And Shoko gets exploded in a way where you don't see her explode, so she's definitely dead. And I was like, I can't remember. What I couldn't remember is I know they bring her back either like way too soon or they wait a weirdly long time. And I couldn't remember which it was. And it turns out they bring her back next episode. So,
yes.
So I was like, okay, it was really soon. So he just gets in the robot, like we said. Very odd decision. And then there's a fight where the other thing, another thing I remember, there's too much fucking shit on the screen.
There's so many laser beams.
And
sparks and explodey boys.
And it's like, I get that, you want the show to be colorful because maybe people thought, I know it was a different studio, but maybe people thought that Guilty Crown was too washed out and too much of a bummer, too dull. So they were like, how about every fucking explosion in this show is a different neon, bright pastel color? How about every explosion is green or pink? How about that?
The mechs are CG, but drawn over to a certain degree in certain points. So like I was looking into this
like that.
Because there were times where I was like, this looks like they drew elements of this, and what they would do is they would do CG, and then for certain splashy moments they would go in and draw over or accentuate things and like distort perspective on the CG robot to make it look more like traditional animation. And it's, for my money, one of the better integrations of CG into a show. I think it blends really well into the art style of the program.
Yeah, it does. It does not look bad. Although I think they're trying to hide a lot of it just with how much fucking shit is on the screen.
Yeah, boy, is it successful, because I can't make out a goddamn thing that's happening. I don't know what the Valvrave does. He's got a sword.
Yes. I feel like the fights get less messy later. I was kind of able to tell what was going on in some of the later fights. This one of the first episode I think might be the worst offender in that way. So Haruto like beats two robots, and somehow that's like problem solved. Like the day is saved, and everyone's happy about it. So I guess he repelled the enemy attack. And then he gets stabbed by L-Elf at the end. But then he comes back and he bites him. It's kind of gay.
Fucking goddamn vampire. He's a space vampire.
He is a space
vampire. But
he's
a space vampire with like vampire powers that I've never heard of, like being able to take over people's goddamn bodies.
He's a vampire his vampirism lets him do a different anime trope.
Oh, what? God. So we've got three things going on here. We've got
and they're not even used very much. They're just in here.
No, the biting thing, it comes up in the first season so maybe easily. 3 times. Maybe 3 times they use it in the first season. And one of the times is like weirdly benign. Like it's used as like a fucking gag at one point where like he gets bitten by there's another pilot later on who bites him to take Haruto to take over his body. It's basically
used to cause like a couple of like misunderstandings that like go on for a very long time, to give different characters motivations, but it's like you couldn't have found any other non-retarded way to just have this misunderstanding or this conflict occur. Because what happens is, episode 2 starts, you're like, okay, right, I remember the vampire thing, that was crazy. I totally forgot about the body swapping.
Oh, completely.
I was like, "Oh my god, that's what the biting does, is you swap bodies." Oh my god. And fuck, so it's like, we have vampirism and then we have body swapping. And it's not even really vampirism. It's just like they call it just like a curse. And it does involve biting, but there's really none of the other vampire stuff. It's just the body swapping, and every once in a while you go berserku.
It's like there's the So with the second episode, we've got Haruto inside of Efu's body, and he shoots one of the Dorsians.
Yes.
Yeah, in the face, and
setting them up to be rivals for like the rest of the season.
Yeah, but like you were saying, it's so easy to write that out, so it's done without this ridiculous body swapping shit, where it's like they get, I don't know, there's you just it would
take some finagling, but yeah, you could do it. You could definitely do it.
Yeah, we're giving him a different motivation entirely. Give him a different motivation for wanting to fucking take down LF. Like,
I mean, he's already basically betraying them, but you have to have someone else in his body for him to shoot the guy. You know, it's just like,
a thing that LF could talk himself out of. I think kind of easily, like, or is at least, it's insane. I can't wrap my fucking head around it. I can't.
It seems like this whole vampirism thing is like just to do some things like that. It's just a slight thing for convenience because they wanted some stuff to happen, I guess. You know?
Why did we need mechs and vampirism?
Well, like, I get the mech has to curse you in some way, but it's just a weird way to do it.
Anyway, second episode.
It barely causes you any hardship except every once in a while you get glowy eyes and you try to bite someone.
Yeah, and then you get kicked and then you're no longer glowy eyed.
Yeah, like, so it's like somebody slap you across the face.
Yeah, and you're like, oh, I'm back. Like, and you think that maybe if you know this is something that could happen, you might not put yourself in a situation with somebody where it could happen again. I don't know, but anyway.
Yeah. So Haruto in LL's body shoots the eye out of Adurai, causing him to emit his first. So now they're at odds. And then things get confusing because they go into this whole thing about how... So their country is... Oh, shit. What's it called again?
Jior.
Jior is their country.
Yeah.
The bad guys are the Dorsians. Dorsia, which I kept thinking of American Psycho because everyone keeps saying Dorsia. I wanted to put together a montage of people saying, how about Dorsia? Because I think it's funny in this context. So, yes. And then the America, like, Jior is neutral, Dorsia is Nazis, and then the America that's basically allied with Jior is called
ARUS.
Yes, Arus. I don't know if they say Arus, but it's Arus. Atlantic Rim, United States. So there's a montage here where they're talking about how Jior surrendered unconditionally, which I was confused by because I thought he beat them in the last episode. But I guess that what they're showing us is somewhere else. I didn't feel like that was conveyed very effectively. I was like, okay, wait, he beat him, but they're occupying it now? What's going on? But I guess they're occupying all the rest of Jior, but not this one place because he beat him there.
This one place being a distinct entity, and the school being its own fucking province. It's like a school town. It's like a school city. A school city with nobody in it except for people at the school.
Who sends their kids to a space dome? Pretty isolated from everything else. You know,
like
I think it's like it might be connected, like they're like daisy chained around a sun in like a Dyson sphere, but like why? Why is it like that? Why are they arranged that way? It's very weird.
So they're arranged that way so that fucking Haruto could eventually push the dome away from the rest of the objects so they can become an independent nation.
Well, he blasts it. He disconnects it. He doesn't just push it, but yes, he also pushes it.
It's arranged that way on purpose. It's important that it's arranged that way.
Yeah.
So that he could conveniently carve this thing off of the rest of the body. This object that has its own life support system, its own weather system that can sustain itself seemingly indefinitely. God damn, what episode is that? Episode 4? When is that?
We're still on 2.
I know. I'm trying to.
Oh, when do they secede? That is 4. Yeah. Oh no, actually, I know. It wasn't even. No, I was justifiably confused because it shows the fucking Dorsian soldiers taking over the school. Which, first of all, why would soldiers be taking over a high school? They're making people hand over their phones and shit. So it's like, okay, are they? Yes. I thought he beat them. They were all happy before, but now they're occupying this place. What the fuck is going on? So their body swapped. I thought it was funny that his friend, to figure out if it's actually him in LL's body, checks to make sure he always loses at rock, paper, scissors. That was a good bit.
That's good.
Edo Edofu drops out of a helicopter. Part of my drinking game was every time LL does a comedically ridiculous stunt that can only be thought of as like, it's just outwardly funny, and he's like stone-faced the entire time, and it's totally like suspension of disbelief destroying the way he does it.
Yeah,
take a drink.
Like blowing up a fucking, jumping down an elevator shaft as it's exploding, and then kicking off to slide into a hallway. Yeah,
amazing.
All kinds of nonsense.
But
he's the king of nonsense.
He drops out of a helicopter and does, or he's still in his body. Okay, this is still Haruto in his body, but he's good at kung fu because he's in his body. So he drops out of a helicopter. Oh yeah, he has his friends just pilot it. They don't even show him getting into the helicopter.
His friend fucking pilots the helicopter. Is like, this doesn't like a motorcycle at all.
Whoa.
He's flying a helicopter.
They're just in a helicopter.
It's crazy.
Yeah. That's just happening.
They don't have the skills. They've never talked about flying a helicopter. The guy doesn't know how to fly a helicopter. He just fucking does it.
Mm-mm.
These kids at this school, keep them away from most
people in Battlefield 3. You know, doing it in real life? No way.
Keep these kids away from your machinery because they will jump into anything given the opportunity. You got a fucking forklift. They're gonna drive this shit around and cause some mayhem. You got an Abrams tank. They're getting in that thing and driving it all over the fucking school. God damn, these kids.
They'll hop into any large machinery. So, I believe at this point he gets back in the robot. I think he's still in LL's body, and then he just flies into space. He's just like, he goes. I think he falls into water, and then he like falls out of the dome and gets into space. So this is when they bring back Shoko. She when she explodes, you can see that she's like near like a blown out car, and it turns out she and this other guy, this teacher, the scientist, when they were hit by like artillery, they were both blown into and buried in a car. And they've just been sitting in there for like hours, and then
he's getting the fucking phone call while he's in his mech in space. Like the signal that he's getting from this phone is powerful enough for when he's in goddamn space in a robot. It's like he's fucking.
Hey, it's the future.
Damn, bro. So I can't even pop down to the bodega.
Remember when they're buried in the car and he turns on the car as if to say like, "There we go." I don't.
What does he mean by this? What did he mean by there we go?
Oh, so we can die of carbon monoxide poisoning instead of suffocating? Like, what was his goal there?
What did that mean? Because it's not like he drove the car out. They just get out of the roof,
bust out the roof. Yeah. Why did he turn the car on?
Oh, there we go. Fucking. I guess maybe it was hot. Maybe they needed the air conditioning. Maybe it was fucking. There we go. This is maybe the most. They forgot about this somehow.
They were going to follow through with that, and then they realized it didn't make any sense. But they forgot to take out the part where he was like, "Oh, I got the car to turn on."
Yeah. They teleported from the explosion into this car. They're in completely different scenes.
No clip in this car.
The Shoko that we know died in the explosion, and then there was a new Shoko who was in the car. It was a completely different person.
Yeah, it's like Moon. They had a backup Shoko.
Jesus Christ.
We're on episode 2, you guys.
There are 12 episodes.
Yeah, just in this half of the show. So, so he's in space. He's fighting. He goes Robot Super Saiyan. He does Robot Seppuku. And then he beats them again, I guess. He gets back. Shoko's alive. She is like, "Hey, please tell me you like me so that we can have hot sex now because you thought I was dead and I thought you were dead. And then he chickens out because it can't happen too soon because it's in episode 2. And, you know, he's a hero. He was just a robot. Tell the lady. Come on. And I don't know where the fuck. I was like, wait, where did Elf go? And I rewound, and he just got, like, taken away by some Gior police. And I was like, wait a second. Aren't they occupied? How are they able to just fly back? They're just gone. He beat the guys in space, and I guess the guys on the ground just, like, vaporized. They just went away.
Well, yeah, I guess they just said fuck it.
They got out somehow. They were like, okay, we're gone now. We're gonna leave.
Christ almighty. It's not even like the little small things could be consistent. Like not even like maintaining continuity of like where characters are or like the state of the world that they're in. It's like, no, it all has to be fucked from the jump. Everything must be absolutely busted.
Yeah, everything like they're putting zero effort into like what's actually happening in this conflict, in this war.
Oh, it's. I mean, the Dorsians are so stupid. The Dorsians are such complete morons who like are just sending thousands of people to get slaughtered by these Valvraves without like improving their technology at all, without like sending like an all-out assault. They'll just send like a small armada to go get destroyed by the big space sword. Like,
yeah, we enter into a very repetitive formula. I mean, the things within it, the details are not repetitive, but the formula of every episode is things are happening to the students, and then a scene gets interrupted by an attack, and then there's a fight. Because apparently they are just sending the same dudes to try and just attack this dome once per episode, like once a day. They'll send some guys to attack, and they just lose every time. And the fights and the battles are so inconsequential. Like, it's just a way to have the last third of your episode. It's just fight time. Every episode, it's like, oh, fight time. Okay.
Yeah, they'll have like a sub boss roll up with like a marginally new strategy where it's like, okay, the mechs can overheat, so we're gonna adapt to that by trying to deliberately overheat them. Like that's like the big strategy. It's like fucking Power Rangers. It's like a Power Rangers episode where it's like, oh colors, no, it's like, oh no, we need to do what are we gonna do? We're overheating, and then that big fucking space sword fixes everything. So, God, what happens in episode 3?
In episode 3,
I love this frame.
That's a good one. That's a really good one. The other country shows up. Arus shows up for support, for assistance. Where did Dorsia go? I thought. Don't know. Disappeared. We get butts. There's girls showering. They do. They pepper in the butts and the boobs. Good amount. I liked it. I enjoyed it. The Elf escapes because they caught him before. Hickey girl.
Okay, we got to cover this escape real quick. I'm sorry, but the way that he escapes.
Oh, this is the one. Yes. Okay. Yeah.
So he is completely surrounded in a room by agents. Are they ARUS agents?
They might be Gior guys. Doesn't
Whatever.
matter.
He's surrounded by a bunch of adult military or special operations people. He takes a screw out of the chair that they've got him tied to and flicks it up about 30 feet into the air.
Well, he flicks it up. His hands are tied behind his back, and he flips the screw. He throws the screw upwards with such force that it breaks a fluorescent light, which he then grabs a piece of the glass of as it falls, even though he can't see it because his hands are behind him. And then he uses that to break the ropes holding him, and then he stabs a guy and grabs his gun and then shoots all the other guys in the room with that guy's gun.
All of this completely stone-faced.
Is that also when he jumps down No, that's later when he jumps down the...
Yes, he has to set that up. He has to set things up, yeah.
Okay.
Which, by the way, once we get there, the they're so concerned with finding Elf that they're just willing to burn. They send dudes in with flamethrowers to just start burning down the fucking building that
He
he's
is
in.
very dangerous. He's the one-man army.
It's true. They call him
important.
that.
I mean, clearly he's
Anyway.
capable. I think in the Blu-ray they added you can almost, I mean, for YouTube purposes you can't, but in my imagination I think you can see a little bit of nipple in the under the
Little
water.
areola. Little areola action, yeah.
Very nice. That girl looks like Yukari from Girls and Panzer. Okay. So what else? Yes, episode 3. Oh, this is where I came up with some of my base Valvrave drinking game. Okay, every time Elf does an absurd belief suspension destroying stunt, okay. When Jun Fukuyama does his signature, and every time they desperately introduce like a new anime storytelling trope, such as vampirism or body switching or mechs, and too much shit on the screen to figure out what's going on. I'm gonna say max 1 of those per fight if you're doing hard liquor, because that would be bad. But that would be a good. You'd get very front loaded in the first couple episodes, and then you'd probably be able to pace yourself. So I think that might actually.
You're starting to stripping those rules back too. Is what I've learned with drinking games. Is that you realize at a certain point you need to worry about your self-preservation.
Very hard to balance a drinking game. Yeah.
There was a time that I turned it was a Lord of the Rings drinking game into a smoking game in college, and it was myself and Chase. And we watched all 3 of the Lord of the Rings movies extended cut over the span of 2 days. And we converted from it's like, okay, if you do a shot, it's take a bong rip, and if it's take a drink, it's smoke a pipe. And top 3 most faded I have ever been in my entire fucking life.
That's rough.
It was so yeah, we realized at a certain point that we need to rein it in a little bit. So anytime that Frodo pulls out the One Ring, not a great rule to abide by. Really don't want to do that one. Anyway,
there was you probably don't remember this. Like you'd remember if I showed it to you, but I can't remember what the fuck the show's called. But there was this CG show from a few years ago, like 2018, 2019 maybe, that was like a total fucking like train wreck, like a zero budget, like everyone was shitting on it, was confused by it, and it was like it was like a guy was in a computer and they were like fighting on like a cargo ship. Like I said, you'd remember it, but it was crazy. And I watched a VTuber do a drinking game with that, and like it was something like every time there's CG and animation on the screen at the same time, and every time they reuse footage. She ended at like 150 drinks, I believe.
Jesus Christ.
Which I think even if you're sipping beer is probably a lot.
150 sips of beer? Oh my god. Yeah, no, it's a disaster.
That's quite a bit.
Funny.
So, in episode 3, so this is, there's these 2 girls, these 2 friend characters who they try to give a little bit of development by having them give a sort of out-of-place moment where one of them says, like, hey, thanks for grabbing my arm that one time. In this, like, minor scene that you don't remember even though it was the last episode. And you're like, huh, that's okay, I guess. And then I was confused by this. They're trying to evacuate, and Haruto is in the school for some reason, and he's confronted by this bully, this delinquent guy, and the bully is like, hand over the robot, even though they're both standing in a classroom, just like by themselves. I don't know how he's supposed to hand over the robot. The bully has a friend who apparently died, who we never see. We just hear their name. I don't even know if we see them die.
Nobu. They say Nobu a lot. Nobu. But I don't know. I was trying to figure out like
who the fuck is Nobu, and I looked online. There's on the Valvrave fan wiki. There is an entry for Nobu. They do not have a picture. They never drew this motherfucker. He just died off screen.
They're ditching plot threads. They're introducing plot threads. They're just hoping you can keep up.
Well, it's like, we need Bully to have motivation, but like we don't have time to show it. So it's like, okay, someone died in the first episode. You didn't see it. Just believe it, it died. He died. They died.
Yeah.
He wants to avenge them. And then Shoko runs into Hikikomori girl. Turns out she was in the school the whole time. We only see her like huddled away in her little cave. And then there's an earthquake, and Elf wants to form a Keiyaku with Haruto. So it's contract time, baby.
Kitty has joined me.
Oh,
Got a little kitty here. Wants to talk about anime. What do you think, Happy?
Okay, he does jump down the column in this episode. So yeah, he's.
It is in episode 2.
No, it's 3.
Episode 3. Okay.
And then this huge explosion behind him. That was so funny.
Yeah, he bounces off a wall perfectly into out of the shaft. It's nuts. It's like.
And the synchronized, like, you know, all the different floors exploding behind him. Where'd he get all those bombs? Anyway, it doesn't matter. So, okay, episode 4.
Like, so he set up these fucking bombs. Where did he get those motherfuckers? Like, they just add shit and take shit away, and I can't keep up with it, Valvrave.
No. So
this is where shit gets good.
Episode 4. Aru's guys are there, you know, so they're safe. They got allies. They try to put another guy in the robot. Obviously that guy's dead. You know, only works for Haruto. Haruto tries to take over. He tries to swap bodies with another guy, and he bites his sleeve and is like, "Oh, it doesn't work unless I bite the skin." No shit, dude. Did we really need to have a?
Why would it work?
Yeah, like what? What was?
Haruto never learns anything. He has to do everything the hard way. He has to fucking just whatever.
I forget what Shoko is trying to convince the student council of, but they don't believe her, and so in order to prove her honesty, she begins to disrobe. I was unfamiliar with this practice. I googled Japan getting naked to prove you're not lying, and I did not get any results. The only thing I can think of is in Evangelion when she's naked in front of Seal.
I
thought they made her did that.
She's trying to prove her purity or something. So I think she's about to get the.
She's going to show her hymen.
Here we go. You guys got that pussy out, yeah. Which, I don't know anybody stopped.
No, I think it's like supposed to be some kind of extreme, like bowing, getting on your knees, but more because you're nude. I think she was going to do a nude. What's it called? Whatever the word for bowing down is. So okay, other guy robot doesn't work. They rescue Haruto, who's being held hostage by Arus. Why did they do that again? I don't even remember. I watched this today.
They're gonna take him to get his to get the knowledge of the Valvrave.
Oh, they were gonna experiment on him.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So, oh man, this is where it gets good because they rescue him. The Arus guys are just gonna leave because they're like, okay, we can't. I guess because they're like, we can't get the Valvrave, so we're out or something. So they're gonna stop helping, and then Shoko comes up with an amazing negotiation plan that makes zero fucking sense. She threatens the I can never remember the name of this fucking country. Arus. She threatens the Arus senator who's visiting with giving the robot to Dorcia unless he stays or unless he supports them or something. Except that same senator just earlier in this episode saw that nobody else can pilot this fucking thing. So they can't give it to anybody. You know?
I'm sorry, my cat just walked across my keyboard and fucked everything up. Can you repeat what you were saying?
Oh, I was saying that their negotiation plan makes no sense because they threaten the Arus guy with giving the robot to Dorcia, even though that senator just saw earlier in the episode that nobody else can pilot the robot, so they can't give it to him.
I guess they would have to send Haruto with them, with the robot. But yeah, like,
but they couldn't do that because that country's trying to destroy them anyways. So it's like if they give them the robot, threat. It makes no sense.
They love the empty threats. That's all they have going for them at the school is the empty threats. They do so many of them throughout this whole thing, where it's like this ultimatum that like fulfilling it would be suicide. You know, it's like, okay, do this or we'll just destroy our only hope for survival. It's like it's not viable. It's not a real threat.
And by the way, another thing they very poorly explain. It's like, okay, I thought Dorcia was like, this maybe like expansionist empire that's like taking over this neutral nation, but then Arus, the other big superpower, is just sort of like offering its support sort of like semi directly, but I guess Dorcia and Arus are just engaged in full-scale war. They act like that's what's going on. I don't think they really established that explicitly. But maybe that's happening somewhere? I don't know. I mean, we learn later that everybody's just in the Illuminati. But is there supposed to be a full war going on? I don't know.
Yeah, they're a neutral nation. The
Gior is, yes.
Yeah, so I don't know. Things don't go well for neutral nations during total war. That's not.
But like Arus, though, is Arus at war with Dorcia?
It certainly seems that they have diametrically opposing goals. So like either it's like Soviet Union, United States. It's like they might be in a Cold War. They might be using this as an opportunity for like a proxy war or something. But it feels like they're in actual war because they get iced, right? Like the Arus, like a bunch of their guys get fucking iced by the Dorcians. So yeah, they must be actually at war.
I guess, yeah. I was confused about that though. Another thing that hit me like a sack of bricks. I forgot this was a like kids should rule the world show. That counts as an introduction of a storytelling trope. That is a drink. That gave me Persona 5 flashbacks. I think Guilty Crown had that too. I think at one point their school had to like self-govern, and then Shu. I remembered I was looking back at the archives and to see what people were saying about the show as it aired, and because this was relatively soon after Guilty Crown's protagonist was named Shu. And he was named Bigger Pussy, and so people call Haruto Space Shu. Except there was an arc where Shu became like Hitler, and he was like bossing everyone around because he was the leader of their.
We might get there.
Yeah, man, I doubt it.
We might end up there. You know, if Shoko gets fake killed again, maybe he'll go off the deep end.
Yeah, but to finish off episode 4, we have Secession. They're like, we're independent now. Just our mod. What's it called?
They vote to all of these students vote to secede from the nation that they're a part of. The nation that presumably
the nation that they're
all
a part
of their
of,
loved ones.
The nation that they're a part of no longer exists. It got taken over by Dorcia. So it's not really.
Sure.
They're like a new country.
Like all their friends and family are back there.
Mm-hmm.
They're all like every single one of them's like, let's go. We're gonna self-govern.
Yep.
That's a fucking hell of a leap to make for a bunch of teenagers.
And also the crazy leap, like Shoko just becomes like a leader all of a sudden, out of nowhere.
This Genki girl just ends up like making this leading the decision to sever sever the school from the rest of the country and drift through space.
That's an extremely 16-year-old girl decision to make. Is let's secede from our country. That's girls are always one to secede and go to war.
Classic.
Yeah,
it's classic. They're like
when girls encounter an invading military force, they're like, I don't like this.
Yeah, they're we're going to start our own nation.
Yeah.
I'm not going to get turned out by this entire military. I'm not going to fuck every single one of these invaders.
Yeah.
I'm not. That's classic. The image of the Valvrave unit pushing this dome through space, just away from everything. So like now, what happens now is that they are completely disconnected from any sort of supply chain. There are no resources coming in and out of this dome. If they have all that they have is inside that dome, and apparently that is the population of the school, one student teacher, and then a scientist man, and then no other people.
They just keep piling up. But yes, remind me to get back to the trading thing and getting supplies. But like, yeah, I was like, wait, was there a scene that I wasn't paying attention where everybody evacuated except for this school? Where the fuck did everybody go? Because it seems like they're in an empty city now, and it's only kids. What happened?
It seems that way because that's what it is. It seems that the entire city is completely empty.
Was there an offhand line somewhere where someone said like, yeah, everyone evacuated except for the school? This could have been where they lived. There's like buildings and shit. Oh,
I'm gonna go pee real quick, but I have some more questions to ask about this. I'll be right back.
Yeah, there's a lot of questions. Oh, there's so many fucking questions, dude. Anyways, I just want to talk about this one frame where they're showing all the students cheering for Shoko's speech, and for some reason they went out of the way to draw like the most faces in one sort of like pan I've ever seen in an anime, and they're very low detail. I don't know why they decided to go with this. Like, there's a lot of lazy ways that you can sort of simulate a crowd, but they went the route of drawing this many faces. It's crazy. There's like hundreds of little simplified smiley faces on the screen right now. It looks completely psychotic. I don't know why they did that. They could have just drawn a bunch of raised fists, you know? Yeah, like what did they mean by this? There's people with like weird half hairdos. There's people with only one eye, you know? There's people with weird confused looks on their faces. Everyone just has everyone's very happy-go-lucky.
Okay. All right, I'm back.
Okay. So you know, like, this show, oh, by the way, I really liked this frame with all those faces. Yeah, this, like, I get that they don't really they're not trying to get into the detail, the logistics of how any of this would work, from the war to the seceding, but they could have done something to not raise so many questions, because even if you're not trying to nitpick this, your brain just, you know, it's like, you don't notice it, but your brain does. You're like, okay, how are they getting things? Because Dorsey is not going to give them any supplies because they're at war with them. They just fucking, they just stiffed Arus. They just fucked them over from what they wanted. So like, they're going to be mad at him. You know,
it's flagrant. It's impossible not to immediately have your head filled with all these questions.
Yeah,
like they set you up for, like, if you go into this trying to keep, like, you're like, I'm not going to question a single thing that occurs. It's impossible, because I'll be goddamned if they don't have an entire city filled with things like bars and restaurants without a single fucking adult there. What the fuck is that?
Yeah, they built bars for these two adults that live here. And some police, I guess.
There's a reference to it at one point. It's like this whole, they do the Evangelion thing where it's like the school was set up from the beginning as a grounds to find the best pilots for the Valvraves or whatever. It's like
it is some kind of secret military operation. Yes, they're not really a neutral country. There's some secret shit going on, but nobody noticed. It's a very very sketchy city.
But that doesn't explain why there's no fucking people there. They at one point the other girl, not Shoko, Rukino or Saki, whatever. What do they call her? Saki. At one point, Haruto and Saki are walking through the city, and it's like a desolate, like it's bombed out, obviously, but it's also completely devoid of any signs of life at all. And I'm like, what is all this for? This all is part of this one dome that they were able to cut off that had life support. There's the episode where the life support is that the very next episode 5 where the life support system's failing?
I believe so.
What in it's all nonsense. It is all nonsense. In episode 5, so it's very hot because the life support systems are working overtime to keep the dome hot enough or cold enough or something. It's like if it's like
to keep it hot enough, but like why would it need to keep it too hot?
Look, why? Yeah, it's like and so the solution for it being just keep it like a livable 65, or like I don't know.
I mean, yes, this whole thing is amazing. By the way, also we reveal in episode 4 that Shoko is the president of Gior's daughter. So okay, it's really like it's like their whole like they just want to be kid country. It's very poetic that this show is like a pathetic echo of Code Geass, and it's this very politically pussyfooted thing too, where Code Geass was straight up Nippon fucking Banzai, and this show is like Kid Nation, woo, robots.
Yeah, it's like the Jimmy Neutron movie. Kids of America is about to start playing.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Yeah,
anyways, episode 5, Shoko knocks over all the food in the supermarket. You dumb fucking bitch, we need that. Don't knock over the ramen.
All this food for whom?
And this is actually when I realized. I was like, what did they did all the adults leave? Did they mention that? What happened?
Did they put them all in internment camps or something?
Was this only
the
a school
Dortians
campus? Yeah, I was
Dortians
really
who teleported
worried.
away.
Was I not paying attention? And they're having fun. They're watching porno in the movie theaters. Again, who was this for before? I don't know. Shoko showers in disgusting, stagnant building pipe water when a guy accidentally busts a pipe with a fucking caterpillar. Everybody's extremely horny because it's just kids now, I think.
No, they literally can't stop getting into the machines. Like I forgot.
That guy's like, check this thing out. I got a fucking excavator. Yeah.
God damn! Don't give these guys a fucking wrecking ball, otherwise there won't be a building left. Jesus Christ.
So, yes, the main conflict here in this episode is we also get a little to reiterate that Dorsia is bad. They show that they give menacing music and they have tanks. That's how you know Dorsia is bad, is because they have tanks and they give speeches. So power goes out. First it's hot and then the power goes out. Now, I'm not much of a Star Trek guy, but I was really thinking like, boy, when you have a space problem like this, and also you have all these people who are like sort of on their own, and to solve a problem they might have to do something like have resourcefulness and teamwork and like figure something out as like a first challenge to sort of to have their first challenge as a nation and governing themselves.
We're gonna make it
again,
after all.
The sort of thing where you would like to see, like, as a sort of a coming of age story. Like, you're on your own. Suddenly you encounter your first challenge and you have to rise up to it. But instead what they have to do is they have to find a big red button and push it. That's the solution to this problem. At the end of the episode is a guy has to push a big red button to turn the power back on. I was thinking like, it would be cool if like they had to think of a solution like, okay, you have to get heat or power into this dome in space. How do you do it? How about you use debris from one of your space fights to reflect sunlight into it so you get more warmth? Or maybe it's a moral decision where you're a newly established nation, and now you have to, maybe no one will trade you a nuclear reactor, and now you have to decide whether to resort to aggressive action, even though you've just established yourselves, to survive. But instead, it's a reason to have them have tensions and argue while a guy pushes a button.
Yeah. This whole space station's life support system is like about 5 feet underneath a floor, somewhere
like a subway
in the mountains
or something. Yeah.
Yeah. It to get to it. I don't know what exactly they're planning on doing in normal times. Do they have a big ladder? Do they have a cherry picker that they just like? I don't know why it's there. I don't know why
the
it's
most
that
inconvenient spot possible.
Yeah, it's like above a perilous void. It's like like on the best of days, that's dangerous, but it's.
I'm running out of synonyms for crazy. It's crazy.
At a certain point, we just have to rattle off the things that occurred because it's like
the quantity is all so amazing.
Yeah,
the density.
Should have sent a poet.
It's so dense. It's so dense.
They should have sent a poet. Really, like I don't have the words to describe the beauty of this disaster.
Yeah. If he pushed the module, away from the rest of this shit, maybe you could push it into a lower orbit to the sun or something. Anyways, and then I thought the
solution was gonna be something involving the Valvrave.
You'd think, right?
Like the show.
Yeah, God knows every other solution to the problems is the Valvrave. So then we have 2 girls fight. Saki and blonde girl have a fight, and Saki tries to bite her, and I was like, oh, she's actually someone switched bodies with her. But then Haruto's right there, and it's his voice, and I was like, oh, okay, so Elf's in her body. And then that's not it either. So something's going on with her, I guess. She tries to bite her. Shoko starts singing Jingle Bells out of nowhere. That was one of the more schizophrenic seeming moments where it was like, what's going on?
Well, I thought that was going to be the point where everything started really falling apart. Where it's like Shoko has this. She's got one mode, and that's all she has. She has no depth or nuance as a person.
It's like, are our characters truly losing it at this point? Is everyone just going to start having insane breakdowns and they just start singing songs and shit?
I thought we were entering Lord of the Flies, and it's like Shoko, we're fucking sick of your bullshit. Get the fuck out of here. Nobody wants to hear it anymore.
I thought it was going to be in psychosis.
Yeah, I thought that Haruto was gonna have to fucking whip everybody into shape using the goddamn robot as fucking leverage, because there's no other reason why she would start singing there. There's no.
Actually, I still don't know why she did that. Was that to relieve tension or something?
Yeah, because it had worked before, right? Like she had done some singing shit before. Yeah, I don't remember. I don't remember.
I don't think that happened. I don't remember that. They sung for the guards to distract them, but that was a totally different thing.
No, she had another thing that she did too.
Really?
Yeah, there was another instance of Shoko singing, and it's like, well, if I'm going to sing the song and it's going to distract everybody from the problem, I thought that was what she was going for again, and it's madness.
Chaos reigns. But that's not the craziest singing that happens in this episode.
No, it
turns out. So, in order to improve relations with the rest of the space world as a new country, they start live streaming, and then we go into an idol music video montage. And everybody is in outfits, and they're dancing around, and I mean, it doesn't sound, you really can't comprehend how insane that is when it shows up just through words. I cannot explain how much of a fucking, I mean, it's hard to even have whiplash at this point because everything's like so absurd, but it was like, they just start having a fun, silly music video.
They filmed it. They filmed a music video. These people who moments ago were dying because their life support systems were going offline are now filming a music video with different sequences and like a performance on a stage, and it's crazy. And
it's like it doesn't like cut to someone like watching the music video on their mobile device to indicate like, oh, they put this out and people are watching it. It's just like it just starts showing it to you, and it's like edited, and suddenly this girl, you don't even know she's an idol yet because they haven't explained that, but she's dancing and doing this routine and singing.
No,
yeah.
Wait,
at this point,
I'm glad that. Okay, so the idol thing. So they. This is another thing.
We'll get to that. That's the next. Yes.
But so they're using this in broadcasting it to get donations and to get awareness and shit, and they're being sent like money to their fund. What good is the fucking money? What good is the money doing you when you've alienated the two powers that could possibly? I mean, one of them wants to invade you, and one of them you rejected and threatened. So you no longer have the ability to use any of this money. I hope that it's a fucking global currency that anybody will accept because it's crazy.
Yeah, they do not really go very, very much into detail there. I guess they want money. I don't know.
Their money doesn't even pay off in the first season. They never spend the money on anything. They just be like, oh man,
that's just stand in for like, we have problem because we're kid country and we need to solve this. And so we need to get from A to B, and B is having a idol music video with dances, and the path from A to B is, okay, how about they need money? I don't know. That's a problem that people have. Right?
Not these people. That's not the. It's not. No. I wouldn't say that's the most imperative thing to take care of right now. My goodness.
Oh yeah, but yeah. So before we even realize that this character has a backstory, she just starts singing and dancing. You're like, what the fuck is going on? It would be like if Haruto just started singing and dancing, And then the next episode, you learn that she's actually a famous idol, even though like nobody treated her like that or mentioned it before. So their strategy is just like, okay, when it comes time to have a character have like an episode or have their development, we're just going to tell you who they actually are, as if it was some kind of secret before. So episode 6, because we're halfway through, I guess it almost starts with kind of a long recap. And episode 6, also famous gif of these two girls dancing in the classroom while everyone claps. Debauchery in Kid Nation. Episode 6, Saki is crazy now. She was just a nice...
Crazy now? What the fuck's going on?
Saki is now absolutely crazy.
She's fucked up.
I mean, not just a little crazy.
Off the deep end. We're talking...
This is incomprehensible. This is unforgivable. Oh, I like how they draw this naked girl and all their... Sorry, I'm going through my screenshots. They draw a naked anime girl and all their stuff. The roads, the football field. So Saki is just sort of like a sort of secondary love interest before. She's a classmate. She's sort of, I don't know, she's a little strong, maybe slightly stoic, intelligent. I don't know. In this episode, she's straight up like quivering voice, like crazy, complete disconnection from reality with no catalyst for this. Nothing happens to her. She's just like this now.
There was a switch that was flipped in the writing room, and then they changed her fundamental. She's a new character.
They didn't even go back and add like they could have at least added like an out of place like line to. There's no setup. She's like they go into the underground secret robot base, and they find that there's a bunch more Valvrave robots. And then she makes out with Haruto, which he just lets happen. What the fuck, dude? Come on. And then she is just like, I'm famous. I have to be more famous. I need to get in the robot to be famous. And you're like, I checked to see if I skipped an episode.
Okay, good. Okay, good.
Fully checked. I was like, is this really 5, 4, 3, 2? Nope. I watched all of them. I didn't skip one. That just happens. This is the beginning of episode 6.
Out of nowhere.
It is.
God damn. It's schizophrenic. It's schizophrenic media where it's like it's actually gaslighting. That's what this is. This is a gaslighting show.
Yeah, it's like they're trying to fuck with the image board threads. It's like they're just like, what? How would they react to this? How about this, motherfuckers?
Yeah, it's like things that wouldn't even come to mind. It's not even a twist. There's no. It's
not even. Yeah, it's not even an ass pull.
It's an anti-twist.
They took information away. Yeah, it's an anti-twist. That is exactly what it is.
Yeah, it's like I'm trying to think of an adequate comparison.
Instead of making a twist makes something way more clear or revelatory, but this instead is meant only to confound you.
It would be like if in Goblet of Fire, Ron Weasley outed himself as being like a racist who hated Muggles. It would be like
it'd be like if he was a racist who hated black people.
Yeah. Oh, I just can't stand him, Harry.
It would be like in the 6th movie if Hermione suddenly had diabetes. You know,
it's just constantly. It's like yeah. It's like, oh, we got to make sure that I get make sure I get my medication. We're stuck in here.
Yeah, it's like suddenly Voldemort steals Hermione's insulin, and that's like a major plot point. That's how crazy this is.
I can't wrap my fucking head around it. I genuinely thought that I'm like, okay, I must have missed part in the first episode where they paid lip service to her having been an idol, but no, it's nowhere to be found.
So, and even the internal reasoning here, it's like, okay, she's a famous idol. She wants to be famous. She only cares about being famous now. That's her character now. And so to do that, she gets in a robot. Again, the solution to everyone's problem is getting into a robot. So she gets into one of the robots, and she is like in breakdown crazy mode. Like I said, her voice is like quivering. And also, she's already famous. I don't know why she wants to be famous. She flies around in the robot crazily, in the way that like a suicidal person drives around on a motorcycle, like not caring if they die. And then she starts giving this speech about like her parents, and I was like, where the fuck is this all coming from? And then she bites Haruto. And I think that what they're trying to do is that she does this thing where like she starts to open up, but then she like doubles back on it, and you can't tell if she's just lying or not. And it might just be like a thing where she is she's couching it. You know, she can't be open. Or whatever, but still pretty weird. So she switches bodies with Haruto, and she uses his body to hit on a girl because that was the girl she got into a fight with earlier. So she makes her horny as revenge. I don't know.
It's completely inconsequential. In like the fact that she is in Haruto's body, has the ability to fuck with this person that she already has beef with, and does something that is like.
She does confuse her. I get it's a very roundabout. It's a weird strategy to like fuck with someone that you don't like.
That is not something that a 16-year-old person does. That is not a 16-year-old's version of revenge. Confusing somebody.
I mean, it might be partially revenge and partially. She does have a line about where she says like, you know, being a boy is fun. So she might have just wanted to try it out and used her as a guinea pig. I don't know. I mean, you know,
I shouldn't have to think this much.
Catchphrase of this episode is, it's still weird. Everything we say where it's like, this could explain this, but it's still weird. It's still weird.
I shouldn't have to think about this much. God damn it! I'm literally. Why is my brain racing a mile a minute when I'm watching this fucking bullshit
for this like
action?
comedic like Kabedon scene? Yeah, why am I trying to figure out why this Kabedon poke?
What does this mean?
Yes.
What does it mean? It's like I'm fucking trying to. I got a fucking corkboard of connected strings, trying to understand a single character's action throughout the entire show. I can't. I'm an adult man. I went to college, and I can't fucking understand. I studied storytelling, and I can't figure out what the fuck is going on. There are professionals involved with this.
You've written stories. You've had to work on completely incoherent stories, as we know.
I swear to God, this is less coherent than the Fall of Merkport. This is.
I love how okay you are with mentioning it by name, but yeah, it is dumber than Merkport.
This is one of the least coherent things I've seen, and it's certainly the least coherent thing I've seen with this much production value.
Yeah, I mean, boy, did this pay off. I couldn't have imagined it was actually. I thought I was watching it. I was like, this is, what I remember watching it and thinking like, this is like chaotic and jumbled. But man, I did not think we were on this level of like, this is like being in a K-hole or something.
Someone sabotaged this. Like someone had a vendetta that they were taking out when they made this. There's no way that it is this way unintentionally.
It has a sort of like, are you not entertained? Like this probably isn't true, but it's stuck in my brain forever. Is I remember seeing someone, say years ago that like, the people who made Code Geass are like pissed off that they can't just do it again, and they keep trying. And this says like it's just like, come on, fuckers,
just like the show,
buy 70,000 copies of this. What? It's just more here. It's the same thing. It's better.
It's like the jumbled up notes from 5,000 Code Geass ripoffs thrown into a pile. It's like they're recycling bin. Like they uncrumpled some pieces of paper and made it into a show. Where it's like, okay, I guess this character's different now. Is this the first? This reeks of first draft. This reeks of like, okay, I actually kind of want this part of this character to be here, but I'll go back and incorporate that into the first episode later.
We'll
and then what happens is that
out later.
and they had started animating the first episode already, and they're like, oh shit, I didn't get to. Oh, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. And then they were just as the series went on. They had gotten further and further along in the animation process, and they never got to go back and fix any of that shit. So it's just
we already have the Genga done for episode 5, where she's a crazy fame obsessed girl, and you're like, God damn it. Well, I guess that just happens now. Yeah. So yes, she flirts with another girl, and I don't know what she does after that. Actually,
nothing. Haruto returns to his body.
I guess she's just goofing around, yeah. So then for love triangle comedy reasons, there's a photograph of Haruto and Saki sleeping next to each other, fully clothed in their uniforms, which is considered very scandalous by everybody. Also, who took the photo? It's like taken from above. Anyways, Saki, in addition to being absolutely crazy, all of her dialogue is also absolutely like non sequiturs and also crazy. Like at one point, Haruto and Shoko are talking about something. I don't even remember what. And she says something along the lines of like, "Oh, both of you just shut up. I want to become famous." And that has nothing to do with the conversation that's happening. It's like, not only did they introduce this whole new character for her, but they also really want to drive it home to you, even though it like disappears next episode. It's just this episode she's crazy, by the way. It's not even all of a sudden she's like this and then she's like this from now on. She's just like this right now. She just has a bad day, and she's a crazy person for a day.
Someone else took over her body. There was another Valvrave person who bit her and took over her body for this episode. and then it'll pay off in season 2. Don't you worry.
No, season 3. Definitely season 3 it's going to happen.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
So then there's another attack, of course. It's attack time. Shoko... Oh, God. So what does stick with Saki's character is that everything she says while she's in a robot from now on has to be idol metaphors. So, like, she has to have idol-themed lines. So when she's in the robot, she's like, this is my stage. I have to finish this song. Everything she says is idol metaphors. It is corny. It's insanely corny.
I have to start working to control myself whenever I hear something, because my response to everything throughout the rest of this show will be, "Oh my God, it's crazy! Oh no! Oh God!" Just keep going. Just keep going. Just keep explaining it. I'm gonna have to hold my interjections because we'll never finish otherwise.
So she gives pep talk with idol metaphors, like you have to finish this song. You're shining on the stage. An explosion knocks Saki back into a brief child abuse flashback. Like an explosion hits a robot and she flinches, and you just see a silhouette of her dad slapping her across the face holding a beer bottle, and then she comes back and she just gets right back into it. God, that shit is so fucking funny, dude.
Do you have anything from the monologue that she has about how she hates humanity? But it's like all of these things that are terrible. It's like greed, gambling, alcohol.
Oh, that's a great. Yeah, she's like money, violence, alcohol, murder. Yeah, just like weird. I mean, I think she's alcohol because her dad's supposed to have been an alcoholic, right?
Yeah.
But it's still a really weird speech out of nowhere, and then she just bails out.
It's like that was pretty much all the things that I don't like. That was every one of the things that I don't like in one.
That's a very anime, like just start naming bad things. You're like poverty, violence. I'm in a robot. It's just like that's just like
I want to be famous.
Placeholder. She wants to be famous. I can't just be a famous idol. I have to be in a robot too. Okay. Oh, and her robot has a bunch of extra legs. It looks really dumb. It looks bad.
Yeah.
Like the robots don't look great because they're like kind of over designed in general, but hers looks especially dumb. Okay.
It is, in fact, especially.
Next episode. Oh boy. I'm just gonna keep saying oh boy. So next episode, I was like, the next episode opens with Saki again. She's in a robot, and it's totally contextless, and she's fighting some guy we've never seen, and the dialogue is like especially sort of generic and like kind of cheesy, and I'm like, oh, I got it. Show within a show. She's a star of a mech drama based on what's actually happening in their country.
Of course,
they got her to play. So I'm like, okay, it's gonna cut out and someone's watching it, and she's an actress, and she's in a show within a show now. So they're sort of commercializing their own conflict. They're producing a TV show. She's in a show. This is a show within a show. And then the opening plays, and then the rest of the episode happens. And I was like,
what was it?
What was it? And I was like, there's no way that was a real thing that's happening, or did happen, or was going to happen, because it was a perfect, like, this is a show within a show. This is like based on the real thing that happened, but it's like extra silly. And they're using they're using weird terminology that you haven't heard yet, and it's like, it's so show within a show that it's like, it was immediately obvious. Show within a show.
Yeah.
No payoff. You're like, what? If you just go to cooking. So no
what
idea.
What are they doing to us? Why are they doing this to
tossing us around. It's like being in a dryer.
I'm a good man.
Yeah, I don't pay my taxes.
I'm a good man. I don't deserve this. I want to just be entertained.
I was entertained.
I just want to relax. I only get so much time off. I want to watch the silly Beck program without having my mind freaked. Mm-hmm. Like, why do you have to Chris Angel mind freak me when I'm watching my mech show?
Mind freak.
I'm not ready. I'm not ready, Chris Angel.
So the blonde girl takes the blonde boy. There's a preppy blonde boy who we haven't really gotten into yet, but she takes him into a hallway and like almost kisses him, but then doesn't, and he's confused. And then Hickey girl's watching this, and then it's her brother. Okay, so blonde guy is Hickey's brother. Elf writes an entire autistic military like plan in a binder, which Shoko sees and is like, no. And so he's like, okay, I assume control of the whole country. And he even tied up the Hickey girl off screen. So then Adrai shows up. And, you know, he got his eye shot out in the first episode, but he takes the blindfold off. He has both of his eyes. So it turns out he was just wearing it to be kind of dramatic.
I believe one of those is a glass blind
eye. Yeah, I mean, he lost at least vision or the eye, but, like, it doesn't look that weird. I don't know why he had the bandage on for that long. He just has this cool scar. So all of his Dorsia buds show up. Haruto then switches with Elf and rescues whoever needs rescuing. I think it's Saki again. Oh, yes. So I thought it was weird that they gave this nerd girl who we've paid no attention to for the whole show a sort of out-of-place moment where she says something nice to him at the beginning of the episode. I think I recognized that it was like an obvious death flag, but I didn't think it would be fulfilled so quickly. But the show just can't not blow its load immediately. So we have finally our first fatality in episode 7 of this intergalactic laser war. Someone has finally died. So everybody's sad. And then Haruto's in Elf's body still, and he sees a picture of a girl, and he starts crying. And I thought there was some kind of retarded reincarnation thing going on. If that were the case, that would be a drink. But I think it's just because it's a memory of Elf's and he's in his body. And they changed the ending song for some reason. Yeah.
They established earlier that the body's has a certain amount of memory to it, or muscle memory. So I guess Elf cries every single time he looks at that photo. Mm-hmm. Shoko gets, or not Shoko. What's her name?
Irie or Aina.
Ida? Is it Ida?
Aina.
Yeah, Aina. She gets her fucking arm blowed off, and also killed.
Yeah, there's like, so it's the Yuki Kaiji character who like, you know, busts in with his robot and like blows the room up. And I thought I saw like there's a few frames of like where you can see a face like disappearing into the flames. There's like 2 frames of it, and I saw that and I was like, I noticed it. It's actually pretty good, like, because you notice it and you just think like, I don't know, you just wave it off because there's a lot going on in the scene. And then I went back and watched that, and if you go through frame by frame, they fuck this girl up so bad.
I did the exact same thing.
There's so much blood that flies out. Like, you know, at the end of the episode, you see her body floating, and you're like, okay, her arm's off, but like, I mean, I don't know what really got her. Then you go back, and it's like there's so much blood splatter, but you don't notice it when you're watching.
Yeah, it's I did the exact same thing. It is in fact a good explosion. I don't think we really talked about how the show looks at all, actually.
Yeah,
but it's a pretty high production value show. It's not always super.
It's a big Sunrise show. Yeah,
it's not always super consistent in quality, but the stuff that looks really nice does look really goddamn nice. Like, they'll do like cool camera moves and shit down hallways, and you know, it's just generally they put a lot of detail into stuff like girl getting exploded. That's a great looking shot.
Yeah, it's inconsistent. The character design is good, and the close-ups look good. You know, it's very sharp. I mean, there's just, you know, when you're making a mech show, most of the movement is probably dedicated to the robots. It's not like there's a ton of like expressive character sort of body movement going on, but you know, they do nice, good faces. I don't know.
Yes, very a lot of very distinct looking characters too. Like I think that they do a good job of differentiating them.
Yeah, when you have this many fucking characters, they gotta look different.
Yeah, they accomplished this.
Yeah. Looks kind of like. What does it remind me of? I don't know. Episode 8 is a flashback. We see now who that girl is to Elf. Some girl he met while he was on the run from someone. They don't really explain what this is in this season, but
it seems like he was in like a prison colony or something, or like
he's probably an experimental kid who was like in a lab and he escaped, you know. So, and then the Dorsey guy is in his office, like the commander, Kine. He keeps a crystal in a bird cage. That's
hell yeah.
Evil. There's a hot Dorsey lady now who's voiced by Nana Mizuki. That's her name. She's a big idol. She's in Symphogear. She got a very husky voice, very distinctive voice. And we already get into attack time early this episode. And everybody has suits now for their robots. The enemy in this episode is the thing that launches boomerangs. It's very non-threatening. It's just not a very interesting, combat concept.
It's like a codename Kids Next Door villain, where it's like it's
a bunch of stuff sticking to me. We gotta.
Yeah, it's like, oh no, it's shutting down my ice cream mobile. It's like this big truck this toy truck that I've reconfigured into being a weapon is being slowed down by the Boomerang Bros, and they're nefarious. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
You get
I can swallow a handful of gumballs and shoot them out my nose.
Yeah, at the last minute. The gang is saved at the last possible moment by number 39, he's able to channel his farts into fireballs.
Yeah, they have to feed him a bunch of Brussels sprouts.
Yep.
It's at the end of the episode.
When it looked like all hope was lost, yeah, somebody comes and stuffs his mouth full of some beans. And he gets his mojo back, and he's able to tune it up. Toot and Timothy, number 39.
Timothy, you have to eat the cauliflower. Oh, I can't. I don't like it. Please.
It's like, if you don't do this, the KND is done. It's great.
It actually wasn't bad as they walk into the sunset.
Of course. Of course. Perfect. We wrote it. There was an episode of Codename Kid Next Door.
Damn, I wish I could write a kid's show. That's the easiest shit ever. It's fun.
Codename Kid Next Door, that would have been a good one to be on, too. Where it's like, kids like gross out humor. It's 2005. Boy, I got it. I don't want to go to the dentist. Like, what don't kids like? They don't like going to the dentist. They go to the dentist. Their dog is taken in by the pound or something, and gotta go get the dog back. It's like that's a sweet writing gig right there. But anyway,
for sure. So yeah, they fight the boomerang. Oh, remember when just a bunch of boats show up?
What?
and there's even a line where someone's like, where the fuck did boats come from? And then someone gives an answer, but the answer is so unsatisfactory that it might as well not even be in there. They're just like, oh, they must have been left over or something. They say some insane shit. There's
one per episode of just inserting things that were never there before or taking away something that was there before. It's
like they're just floating in space, but someone either snuck boats onto your floating space colony or snuck onto your floating space colony and commandeered your boats. Both of those are say very bad things about your security. Those are both bad. Okay?
I was completely numb to it by this point. This one came out of like, oh, for fuck's, they got boats.
What happens with the boats? Nothing. Nothing happens with the boats. Of course not.
They have to suck the boats out into space. They put a hole in the bottom. Actually, no, the boats don't even get sucked into space. They put a hole through the dome, out the bottom, so the water drains out into. Also, have we talked about how the fuck does gravity work on this dome?
Oh God, we're not even gonna think about that. No,
they play fast and loose with that shit all the time. But anyway,
yeah, I mean that's so beyond the realm of the things we have to be worrying about here.
We'll save that for the dissertation.
Yeah. Oh boy, the coffee metaphor. Ooh, Haruto is trying to convince LL to work with him, and he's like, "I'm like sweet sugar, and you're like bitter coffee," but they both work well together. And they animate LL doing this head motion, and it looks like he is visibly cringing.
It does look like that, yes.
And I wasn't sure if that was like on purpose. Like, is that supposed to be like a gay ass fucking thing for him to say? They don't bring really any attention to it. You'd think, for the subtlety this show has, they would show like everyone sort of like putting their forehead in their hands and going like, But it just, LL just does this kind of like he turns his head to the side like, ugh. But he doesn't emit any noise. He just goes.
They lost they'd given up on that point. They're like, I guess we don't know how we're supposed to react to this. So we'll do some sort of ambiguous reaction that people can impart their own shit onto.
Yeah. So, yeah, like you said, something with the water. I just wrote some weird Kakumeiki scheme saves everyone. They shoot something and something shoots out of the dome. And then the Dorsian, like, commander bad guy says something about their plan to, like, connect lives together. And I was thinking, if this has instrumentality, that's a drink for sure, bud. That's a fucking drink in your drinking game. Episode 9, we are back to being sad about Aina, because everyone was only kind of sad for like 5 minutes that last episode.
Yeah.
Everybody presses X to rest in peace on their phones. And I thought that was supposed to be kind of a like showing how careless or how how disconnected and uninvested the rest of the galactic community is about this tragedy that's befallen this small nation. But then like one of our characters presses X to rest in peace. I'm like, oh, was that not supposed to be what that was? Is that supposed to be like I don't know. So Haruto goes berserku only for the second time ever, but everybody acts like it's happening a lot. Oh, actually, at the end of the last episode, they continue LL's flashback, and this little girl kind of like, I think it's supposed to be that like she was like the first person that was like nice to him. It's one of the that was the first thing in many episodes that it like at least seemed to be trying for something decent, or that at least made sense.
It's like trying to give motivation to a character. Like LL feels like it's like, oh, okay, I understand a little bit more of why he's doing the things that he's doing.
Yeah,
I mean not like always, literally speaking.
That's again, they don't return to that in this half of the show, but like, yeah, that should be a slam dunk. Is like, okay, you have a guy who no one was ever nice to him, and he's a weird lab child, and then someone's nice to him, and the kindness, has an effect on him. You see that, maybe they can do that. Who knows? Tune in next time. It goes berserk. I was trying to figure out what do you think the percentage of scenes in this show that end in interruptions by enemy attack or some kind of alarm or explosion? Because sometimes it feels like a third of them. For real.
Well, when none of the scenes connect to each other and the characters are changing so radically between scenes, it's hard to keep track of where you're at. Yeah. So like and then an explosion. The scenes that are the most consistent are the scenes where they have to fight the robots in space. Those ones I'm able to pretty much keep up with.
Those are a little too consistent, yeah, I would say.
I'm able to understand what's going on because the bad guys want to take over the dome. And, yes, it does feel like it's happening every single episode because it is.
Yeah. An interesting correlation, very, very strong correlation is as the show gets more ridiculous, the teacher's boobs keep getting bigger, I swear. Like it's like a 1-to-1 correlation. They keep making them bigger. Yes, there is a girl teacher, and there is a guy. There's a male like scientist or teacher or something, whatever he is. He clearly is like evil or knows something that he's not saying because he has a scraggly beard. There's like 2 guys with like the scraggly beard in the show, and they both turn out to be kind of shady. Feeding LL bean bars. I want to feed LL my beans.
Oh, is he number 39? Is it Farty Freddy?
It's
Farty. Is it number 30?
It's Tootie Timmy. Yep, that's him.
Tootie Timmy.
Farty
Freddy and Tootie Timmy are a team. They're brothers.
Those should have been the robots from Transformers. Yeah. We're back to the bully, by the way, after many episodes. He really wants to be called Thunder, which is kind of funny. And he brings up Nobu again, and this is the point where I'm like, wait, who the fuck was Nobu? And I look it up and realize it was nobody. And then there's Kuma, who is a guy who's insecure about being useless because he hasn't really done anything this whole time. And also he had something going on with Aina, possibly love interest or brother or sister or something. I think he just liked her.
He liked her, yeah.
Yes. Okay, so him and Thunder fight. They're getting into some kind of argument. Thunder wants to get into a robot. And Kuma tries to tell him not to get into a robot, but then they both get into robots. So you get 2 robots in one episode. And Kuma is visited by Ghost Aina. Again, trying for something and like doing it in the most clunky way possible where it just becomes funny. Where if you just try to put some thought or effort into this could have been an emotional moment. But instead she shows up in front of his robot as a force ghost. It's great.
Shout out to Thunder for he's asked at one point, he's like, hey, did you get the message about it's like hey, you went in the robot, did you answer the question? He's like, yeah, they asked me some shit about giving up my humanity or whatever. Which I loved. I thought that was funny.
Well, yeah, he doesn't care.
Thunder is actually my favorite character in the show. I love everything he does. He's ridiculous. He is a caricature. He's a hoot. That really endeared me to him. Where he's like, I'm fucking give up my humanity or whatever bullshit.
Yeah. I mean, with the seriousness the show has been treating that concept, that's he actually has the most appropriate response so far. Kuma blows up a thing set to inappropriate, like cheerful military march music. And then you figure out like, oh, okay, what was supposed to be happening there was that him confessing to Ghost Aina was actually him like contemplating whether he wanted to die because because he was asking to be with her, which would be dying. And then she told his ass no. And I was like, okay, that's kind of good, actually. It was executed badly. But I was like, that was a thing that they tried. We get the scientist guy heel turn finally. And he says that the whole city was like a military op, which we all obviously knew. Because it's just full of robots. The ground's full of robots. Episode 10, it's time to have an election. It's time to elect someone to be the prime minister of Kid Nation. And
we gotta pick one of these children to be taken seriously. Otherwise, we wouldn't be taken seriously if we didn't have an elected leader.
Or the teacher. The teacher also runs, right? Because she was kind of in charge before.
Yes.
So, preppy blonde guy, Akira's brother is running. The blonde chick, we continue to have antics with blonde chick who thinks that Haruto hit on her many episodes ago. The B plot is the Dorcia soldiers are sneaking around looking for something because they think that Kine is up to something. They're probably going to defect at some point. I don't know. Shoko's dad is dead, except wait, no, he's not actually dead. This dialogue confused me. I guess. Very famous reaction image. Love this frame. Couldn't figure out what was going on with Shoko's dad. But then later you figure out, okay, I guess he was just like hostage. And also, I guess Shoko knew this the whole time, but she just gets sad about it now.
She's been hiding it and keeping up appearances to keep everybody's spirits up. Man.
Yeah, sure. And then it's I don't know. It was confusing. And then Shoko decides to run for president, and she decides they're going to have a school festival. And Haruto decides that he is going to come.
Oh yeah!
It's time for rape. And what hasn't been said about the rape? I mean, you knew this was coming. This is probably the most well-known part of the show.
I believe that the show is known colloquially as Valvrave.
Yes. And this episode, I remember this episode being summarized as Shoko won the election, whereas Saki won the erection.
Yes. The line "Shoko won" is
I forgot that line, but I went, oh fuck, that's pretty good.
That is yes, that is a classic. It's
Shoko
why
tucked hard.
Why did we need this?
I don't really get the. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, Haruto is like on a hilltop shrine with Saki, and then he goes berserku mode, and at some point off camera, I guess he takes his pants off because you see both their legs, and he is bare-legged, and you're like, what happened to his pants?
I have to say, she does take it like a champ. She really understands and takes it like a champ pretty much immediately.
She very quickly is like, all right, I get what's happening here. Yeah.
Which I think you have every right in that situation not to, but I have to appreciate somebody in the show showing any amount of logic. Even if it is,
and, she
stretching credulity to a certain degree. It's like the one situation where being extremely logical doesn't necessarily make sense, and it's the only time they choose to exercise it. They are currently on a dome that is flying aimless through space. By the way, if you don't, just so we can recall, Haruto is a vampire. Who's a vampire mech pilot, and they're on a dome flying through space. So they really thought the thing that would tie this all together is if they had a good rape scene that coincides with this election that's going on to elect the I guess the prime minister or the president of Kid Nation. This is all completely reasonable stuff, and this all fits together really well.
Yeah, I mean, boy, I don't know if I could think of anything that just expounds less upon just the plot or the characters here. I mean, they're like he wasn't even horny before. He doesn't even like women. And she's not a particularly passive person. There's nothing about their characters that like feeds into this happening. Zero. Literally zero.
It also doesn't like amount to anything real. Like it's not like it's a weird, completely unnecessary speed bump. He could have like gotten a little too aggressive, like forced himself onto her, made out, and like got a little too aggressive. But to go all the way to full-blown rape is crazy. It's just not like tonally appropriate for the show. It's not. It doesn't. When you do that, it needs to be a sea change, I think. I don't think that having things pretty much continue exactly as they were with like a minor character shift is really the route that you want to go with that. If you're gonna drop the big R, if you're gonna hit the R chord.
Yeah, because afterwards she's like, look, I get it, and I feel like that's a weird time for her character to suddenly be very resilient. And
a person who we've established is crazy.
It's a crazy person. When you rape a crazy person, they don't get less crazy. Contrary to popular belief.
As much as I've tried.
You cannot fuck a bitch calm. Okay?
Yeah, as many times as I've tried that, it's never once worked out. It's it generally only makes things worse.
I mean, look, maybe in concept, I get that if you're losing your humanity and becoming a total animal, maybe you can get to rape at some point, but you gotta build there.
He hasn't even gone through ravenous eating.
He's just been kind of jumping at people angrily twice,
and then somebody kicks him in the stomach and he moves on.
Yeah, someone like flicks him on the forehead and he's like, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's like, Haruto gets like that.
They might as well be giving him a Snickers. Like he's not himself. Yeah, they gotta give him a Snickers.
I but just a wee misstep in what is otherwise an extremely coherent project. It's airtight. It's airtight. Other than this, it is insane that of the main character raping another character is not in the top 5 craziest things that happen in this show.
I think it's in the top 5. I don't know. I think that makes the top 5.
All right. Top 3.
It might not be. I don't know. It's definitely not in the top 3 most nonsensical things.
Yes, it's definitely shocking.
But it might be the most brazen thing.
But it just doesn't make any fucking sense.
No. It's funny to make there's so many things that don't make sense, but that in the grand scheme of things are relatively minor. With regard to how things work, mechanics, physics,
sure,
logistics, even character stuff, but it's a combination of the gravity of what you're doing and how little sense it makes. Where it's top of the chart, top right of that XY axis. It's all the way you can go. It's exponential.
Yeah. It's just one of the worst things that a person could do, and it's the main character doing it, and it's just brushed aside.
It's if you're gonna people there's people there's a lot of people who don't even think, I'm sure there's a lot of people who don't think you should even ever have a rape scene, and I would disagree with that. But I think if you have a rape scene between 2 main characters, you should have it make any sense at all. Maybe just take a second to think if what you're doing makes any sense from any angle or any perspective.
Does it advance the narrative in a way that is compelling or necessary? Does it inform the characters going forward in a way that otherwise is impossible to do?
Even if it were supposed to be sexy, I think that's morally wrong. But that would make more sense than this. Whoa, what happened? Are you okay over
I'm
there?
sorry, I'm just Kit Kat. I'm just doing some shit.
If the rape scene were just meant to be hot, I'd be like, okay, well at least that has a logical through point that's very in poor taste, but I could wrap my mind around it.
But you can't. Nobody. There's no audience for this scene. There's
no.
There's no person.
Except for people talking about this show, what the fuck is this, dude?
There is no person that is like, oh man, now it clicks. Now I get Valvrave. It's like, oh shit, now I totally understand what they're going for.
Yeah, it's they were just like, oh, people are going to like this because they're going to watch this. They're going to be like, oh man, that's crazy. That was the desired reaction. Is people, I bet there probably were people who saw this and just thought it was good because, People see a serious thing happening, they're like, "Oh, damn, that's crazy. That's crazy right there."
It's like, oh man, he raped her. It's like,
Yo, oh no, oh shit, dude, he just raped her. Oh damn.
That's you literally can't defend writing this into this show. Like there's no, you can't. There's no person that would take the argument. You can't construct an argument that validates this. Like it's just impossible. It's so it's like desperate. It's like
yes, a lot. Yes, that's definitely the word I would use for like a lot of the stuff happening in the show is just like, please, just again with just like throwing all of the like the like cliché stuff in, like body swap, like fucking please, you know.
We got boobies, we got robots,
we got idols, we got just. It's like someone who doesn't know how to cook, just like using every spice because they think that's what that's what cooking is. You just throw more stuff in there. You're like, I'm fancy. It's like a toddler putting paprika into pancakes because they think like I'm a chef. I saw it on TV.
It is. It actually sounds kind of good. But it's spicy pancakes. But that it is an act of desperation for like maybe something. Shut up, cat. Maybe something from this show will stick with people. Maybe there'll be one thing that it gets people talking and we'll get some word of mouth.
Yeah, and, it's like they're trying to get people talking and they're also just like they're trying to imitate like the beats of a good show. Like, okay, this is the point where like shit would get real. So we're just going to have some shit get real. And you don't not like it's like they weren't thinking about like anything else.
Yeah, I don't know. I will never be able to wrap my head around it. So, God, where do we go from here?
We go to episode 11, where Shoko's dad has been arrested. Haruto hates boobs now because of what he's done. Everybody's going to meet. I don't know what they're going to, but everybody's looking fancy except for Shoko, who dresses like a dork. I like her. It's funny. Haruto and Saki go to a bar to talk about how he raped her.
That is a place to have that conversation if you're going to have it.
Yeah, I mean, you want to have a few brewskis if you're going to meet.
Yeah, you need to have
getting deep
about
like
6
that.
or 7. About 6 or 7, and then you're really ready to talk about
I
it.
mean, that's so funny, like apologizing to a girl for raping her by taking her to a bar. Like, here, I have this already opened Mike's Hard Lemonade that I got for you.
Are you over it? It's,
so yeah, so we're cool, right?
They just go into this completely abandoned city, and this is when it confirmed to me that there's nobody else in this fucking place.
No,
and like,
Kid Nation.
which like everything else had implied that much, because like other people would be like, hey, maybe we don't want to be blasted into space, but yeah, they just go off without telling anybody to have this conversation.
Shoko has her friendship with Akira that they're developing. She calls her on the phone, and Akira has a panic attack and hits the keyboard. It's attack time. It's time for our daily attack by Dorcia. This time, Shoko's dad is being held hostage, and they have no choice but to hit all their spaceships with a big sword and kill everybody. So her dad's dead, for real this time. And this was probably, this might have been the craziest thing that I didn't remember at all. It actually ends up being totally inconsequential, but Haruto going to Saki and being like, and proposing to her, like for marriage.
Yes.
And I was like, what? Excuse me?
Every episode, they just try to one up everything.
Yeah.
Like, it's like every episode they're trying to escalate in some way. They want the what the fuck moment in every single one.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Again, trying to imitate the beats of, say, a Code Geass. but not drawing the lines from one point to the next properly. So that's really all that happens in episode 11. Episode 11 is simple. Yeah. Last episode
is that the one with the big drill? Is the big drill in that episode or no?
No, they're drilling they start drilling, I think, in episode 11 maybe, and then, but yeah, no, I think episode 12's conflict is mostly that the Dorsians are drilling in, sort of like that Ava episode where they're drilling into whatever, Eternal Dogma.
Nerve, yeah.
Into Nerve, yeah. So we get another weird Saki scene, and this is when you realize that, okay, these are in fact flash forwards, and then I was like, oh, right, yeah, I guess they're supposed to be immortal. But since they're just showing her in the future, like hundreds of years in the future, I guess they're trying to imply that she's the only one who ends up surviving. That could be a fake out. It actually probably means it is a fake out. I don't know. But she's telling some kids about this that's happening. But she's in a different. We're in the setting is supposed to be. It's called like the True Calendar 71, I believe, and she's in some other calendar 200. So it's been at least a while. So
I don't know. You hear my cat playing with that toy in the background.
Not really. Batting around. No.
Okay, good.
They find more floating dead bodies. And then Elf and Kine fight each other. Kine, of course, is the man who taught me everything I know. So that's good. Eye patch guy. I was like, this dude's obviously immortal. He has powers too. He's like, come on, don't try and fool me with this. Akira has to decide to leave her Hickey cave to rescue Shoko. And she can't rescue Shoko because the hallway's collapsed. But what's buried behind the drywall of this hallway? Oh my god, it's another fucking robot. Can you fucking believe it, you bitch?
Why is it there? Why
She's
is
like,
the robot
there?
I've
just had character development. I wish there was a robot for me to get into right now.
You better fucking watch out. You better not have an episode dedicated to you. Otherwise, you're losing your soul and becoming a fucking vampire. Yeah, dude.
It's vampire.
I can't stand the Akira character.
I like her. She's cute. I like her.
I can't
Yuki's voice
her.
is so good. Her voice is so good. Come on.
She don't even say much of the fucking. She's typing everything.
What makes it so good is it's few and far between. It's sparse.
Yeah. All right. This is your favorite show. This is definitely confirmed favorite show.
All right. I admit this is my favorite show ever. Fine.
All right, that makes sense. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. I like it. I actually like it. Actually, it's actually my favorite show. So if you could not,
I actually liked it first, and I like it more. So.
Well, I'm the one who brought up the idea of watching it. So.
Well, it's like.
I
actually watched it like while it aired, and you watched it later. I remember. And also, I watched more episodes of the second season than you did.
Well, I actually, when you were trying to watch the second season, I actually I bit you and jumped into your body, and actually I watched the season. That's why you don't remember anything from the second season at all, because I watched it in your body.
I actually had sex with Yuki Kaiji. I actually fucked him.
I was gonna say I actually jerked you off when I was in your body, which makes you gay. So sorry about that, but that's no take backsies on that one. You lost your humanity. You gave it up.
Damn it.
I pressed the button and then I jerked you off, and now you're an immortal gay vampire. So
I'm stuck being gay forever. Shit, this sucks, dude.
Yeah, I got you pretty bad. I'm also LL, so that's why my plans are so good. I put you into the situation specifically so I can reveal this to you 10 years later that I jerked you off. I actually learned to. I actually got your body so flexible over the span of 6 months that I was able to suck you off with your own mouth. That's why you don't remember those 6 months 10 years ago. That's why you don't remember the second half of 2013, is because I sucked you off.
Oh, you said you sucked me off. You didn't say I sucked me off. That means you did it, dude.
No, I did it.
You just admitted that you were thinking of it as being you while you did it. You weren't even thinking of it as being me. That means that you're the fucking gay one.
No! My plan! My beautiful plan is ruined.
10 years later, shambles. In shambles.
Because it is the one that does the sucking. That is the one that is gay.
Yeah, so. Obviously. Everybody knows that.
Well, I need to work on a new Keikaku. I'll get back to you on 10 years, but I'm going to make you gay too. We're going to be immortal gay vampires together.
That was always the plan. we made that promise as children. We made our pinky promise.
The promise we made that day.
You don't remember our promise? Ethan Kuhn? You don't remember our promise?
Fuck it.
And you're like, what promise? And I'm like, whatever. And I storm away.
Little gay ghost boy who died.
Yeah, my final wish is to suck someone off.
Your final wish is to suck yourself off, but it's me in the body, which is, I have to say, pretty elaborate. But I'm glad I was able to make that happen for you. That's a real long shot that I'd ever be able to pull that off. Oh,
God, yeah. Sorry, it's just whenever Anohana gets brought up, my brain gets stuck on Steven. and just I don't know. I've talked about it too much before. That's the funniest opinion on any thing I've ever heard in my life. He was like, I just didn't like Menma. Or wait. Yeah. And I was like, why? And he goes, she's just a bitch. like a 10-year-old girl who's just nice. I just didn't like her. She's just a bitch.
It's pretty fucking awesome.
It's just insane. Oh fuck.
I love it. That's a Steven original right there.
It might be his funniest opinion on anything ever. He can't explain it. He's stuck to it forever. She's just a bitch.
You should bring that up next time that you're hanging out and ask.
I've brought it up to him before. He'll never be able to explain it. It's so fucking funny.
Really, I think that the ultimate loss is that the real. One of the great tragedies of this world is that there isn't like 5 years of Steven talking about anime. That really is that humanity is worse off for not having heard all that.
Oh man, the potential there is it's
like, what he was born to do. Really, I think it was. I think he was born.
If I lived on like an oil vein that was worth $1 billion, but couldn't like drill it for like some EPA regulation, that's like 1/10 of how I feel not having Steven talk about anime on a fucking podcast, dude.
He is just he'll never understand his true value, his true worth.
I know. Let's finish the last episode.
Yeah, let's get this bitch done. We've only been talking for 3 hours.
Akira gets in the robot. They drill all the way through. Hakingu, someone hacks. Does Akira's robot hack or something? I don't know.
It does, yeah. It does, yeah.
Okay, great.
Well, the robot specifically, the one that she has.
And just a few years later, she'd be in Persona 5 playing another Hikikomori girl who also hacks, and when she joins your party, her job is to do the hacking. Hey, what do you know?
Hey, wait a minute. That must have been set. That robot must have been set there for her by.
Yes, that's implied that all of the students' robots have been so like this is all.
Yeah, but I'm saying, did he put him there in the building? Like, did he put it there behind that rubble for her? Because it couldn't be there otherwise.
I probably. I mean, you wouldn't even think the school would be big enough to have that in there. It was in a wall. It was literally inside of a wall.
Yeah, it's looking through like a fucking Titan. It's like, what do you want, kitty? You're very distressed, I know. I haven't paid attention to you in a couple hours. There he goes. He's walking across my desk. Let's finish this shit.
They shoot Kane, and you don't see him die, so he's definitely dead. He starts speaking in tongues. He has his green crystal. The green crystal's name is Blue. That's, I mean, really, whatever at this point. So we didn't really talk about how the Haruto's mech, the console, the center console has a little, has an anime babe in it who emotes, but doesn't talk. And Kind's robot also has one. So you're like, okay, of course the mechs are actually like people, and maybe they're like ancient magic beings or have been captured, whatever. And then Kind gets a crazy energy robot. And the presidents of both the major nations meet at a crazy Illuminati waterfall occult thing, and you're like, okay, so everyone's just in on it. Everybody's the true puppet masters. They've pulled the wool over our eyes.
It's all according to Keikaku.
It's all according to Keikaku. Talk about an anti-twist. Again, we have made things way less interesting. So wow, yeah, that's one half. That's 3 hours, one half of Valvrave.
It's the densest thing we've ever talked about by far.
It must be, yeah.
This could have been 6 hours. Like, this could have easily, like, if I had taken notes, I could have gotten this. We could have ballooned this bitch up. But like, just watch the fucking. How long does it take to watch 12 episodes of Valvrave?
If you skip the openings and the endings, which I did because I don't really care for them all that much. When I first watched it, when it aired, I didn't appreciate the cheesiness of the opening as much. Now, I kind of like it. But, basically an episode's 22 minutes, so that's 264 minutes. That's 4.5 hours.
Okay, so we're at 3 now. Is that right?
Yes. So we're yeah.
Yeah, we're about 2/3 of the runtime into this thing.
68% of the total runtime of the first season of Valvrave is how long it takes to explain Valvrave.
Jesus Christ, and we glossed over stuff. There are a bunch of characters we didn't even get into.
I mean, who else is there?
There's the other little boy, the other boys from the Dorsia.
They don't do anything, though. That's like whatever.
Well, there's a psycho boy that they keep taking on fucking missions. This clear psychopath who disobeys orders and shit.
I mentioned him multiple times. That's Yuki Kaiji.
Yeah, but it's like the Dorsians are so fucking stupid.
They're stupidly evil. They're just like they're just unbelievably sadistic. They're just bad guys.
They're all love being evil. They revel in the opportunity to be evil and do bad things. And but anyway, yeah, I am stoked. I was thinking this might be a situation where we watch one core and then take a break and then get back to it like after a month or so. But no, I gotta get right into this. No, gotta see where this goes.
You can't stop this train.
Yep. Well, any other thoughts? Any other stray thoughts?
No. My head is empty now. This was like a big this show is like a big coffee enema for my brain.
This was a therapy session. We had to decompartmentalize some stuff. We had to unpack a lot of trauma. I don't have much else. I will see you for the next episode of this shit because Lord knows I'm going to bomb through it.
Well, so. Yes, I'm glad we finally figured this all out, or at least half of it. So
the 10-year retrospective on a banger of a start, I gotta say. Like
this was very much worth doing. Yes.
We were talking about maybe doing some 2003 stuff too. That could be really fun. But wow, we really did hit a gold mine for the first episode.
Oh, actually, like briefly, I wanted to go back and see the kinds of things people were saying when this was first airing. So this is actually before it aired, and all they had was like the promo image and the title and the studio. There were a lot of comparisons to Gundam Seed. Yeah, so I'm looking at this thread here, valvrave.com. Seed settings, suddenly Dyson spheres. You thought this would be a generic you thought this would be a generic story? Guess what? They're fighting over the sun. They're not fighting over the sun.
Fuck, what was this? What was this from?
What do you mean?
Where was this? Where was this archive from?
This is a 4chan thread.
Oh my god! Oh boy!
Yeah,
okay.
March 10th, 2013. So, the story. Okay, so someone quotes the story synopsis. What is?
What the fuck is the comment? You thought this would be a generic story? They're fighting over the sun. What does that mean? What does that have anything to do with the story?
Yeah, I don't really know. So someone takes the excerpt of the premise. Someone says this is the most generic Gundam premise ever. A lot of Seed references. I haven't seen any of. I don't know anything about Gundam Seed. Do you?
No, I don't know anything at all.
I'm trying to find it. Someone mentions that the protagonist is like a pacifist, and everyone goes, "Oh, god damn it!" Like, oh, he's like the Seed guy, but even more of a pussy. Let's see.
Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Here, I'll bring up some Mal.
Oh yeah, some reviews would also be good. The protagonist, he's very nice and hates conflicts, loves pacifism. Someone replies, "Kill me now."
Now, it doesn't really stay that way for very long. This guy kills a bunch of motherfuckers.
And also, he doesn't really have much personality.
No.
The main character reminds me of Shu. Remember? Guilty Crown Shu. What the
Yes.
fuck? Production IG copies Code Geass, emulating Sunrise, and then Sunrise copies Guilty Crown. Up to the uniform designs. He's going to be an angsting, unbearable pussy, isn't he?
No, not really.
And someone says, nah, there's nothing in the trailer that points to him to be like Kira. I think that might be I don't know who that is. I think you're generalizing the premise to everything else.
Actual discussion that people are having. What is this completely like unironic conversation that these people are having?
It was 10 years ago. It was a little weirder.
It was.
And then the show starts airing, and like, really, there's like the show. I mean, people just aren't talking about the plot that much because everyone just really likes Shoko, and it's just like there's not much show yet, so there's not. I guess there's not a ton to talk about. Yeah. So this is the thread as the first episode is airing. So there's no subs yet. So there's people posting pictures. Let's see here. I'm not into mecha, but that girl's smile will make me give it 3 episodes. This better have homobots. I can't watch mecha shows without female pilots dropped.
All right, what if
Valvrave becomes the valve to Dyson Sphere's energy tap? What if and then someone replies, what if history gets altered due to mysterious events that circulated in the past, thus leading Dyson Sphere as the Earth of Valvrave? I don't know what that means.
I got a review from Toucan Bird.
Toucan Bird.
They have titled their review Kakumeiki Valvrave, a liberating viewing experience.
Whoa.
Okay, I'm gonna take my reviewer hat off for this one. What do you mean? You're reviewing it. Okay, while I usually base an anime off of its overall plot, characters, and production elements, I'm going to have to break the mold with this one. This series, I dare say, is so bad it's good. It's like watching a Michael Bay movie. You know it's bad, but you just can't take your eyes off of it. Okay, all right, okay, all right. It seems like they kind of got the right idea. They go on a little bit. Here's one from XXX Kitty XXX.
That's a name you can trust.
I'm usually not very into mecha animes, but Kakumeiki Valvrave changed my view. Plot. I'm sure the plot has been done before because there is many animes with high schoolers and mechas. Take like almost all of the Gundam series. But Valvrave but Valvrave put their own twist onto things. Valvrave deals with a lot of demonic attributes with not only
I guess.
With not only the creepy music, but how the protagonist, Haruto, is always trying to bite the shit out of someone. While watching this anime, it has gotten me what would it be like if my high school became a country?
Oh fuck, that's good.
Every episode, somehow the story progresses. At first, when my brother started watching it, all I did was look at it, and I thought it was stupid. But then I decided to go back and watch it myself, and I couldn't wait to know what happened in the next episode. Valvrave can defiantly be an anime you judge at first sight. But since every episode ends with a cliffhanger, you desperately want to know what happens next. Art and music. The art is very crisp, and I can see the artist of this anime really focuses on colors.
I can sort of eke out what they're trying to say. It's like, yes, there are colors.
Romance aspect. I had to add this as a separate. I'm going to only get a little bit more of this. I had to add a separate category since I'm a girl who loves her romance. Valvrave has actually more romance than you might think, which is like oh so much. But it pisses you off a little because the anime writers have to be cliche sometimes and do the right thing. Although I want to see, I guess you could say, quote unquote, the wrong thing. You'll get what I'm talking about if you watch it. To say the least,
is that a reference to the rape?
You think so?
Oh, the wrong thing.
To say the least, Valvrave's romance parts kind of get you excited. Jeez, Kitty, I hope you're doing well. Does she have more reviews?
Oh god, this thread has Justin TV links. Oh.
Wow.
Okay, so now I got to the part where the show's actually airing. It's pretty shit so far. Edgy. Was that a penguin drum keychain? Oh god, Shoko, what are you doing?
This is very weird.
Where are the mechs?
This so I went to Kitty's profile, and this person named Gonzo Lude posted on her profile. It said, "Pets your chin. You seem really kawaii."
When was that?
2014.
Jesus.
And then
Christ.
there was a response a month later. Late responses, eh? And then he responded in March the next year as well. So he was not taking no for an answer. That's a weird thing that you can look at. I don't like seeing this weird social interaction here. What's Gonzo Lude up to? My Mal interview? Go to Koneko-chan.
This thread is their live watching when he gets stabbed and then does the biting. It is awesome. Everyone is freaking out. It's just a bunch of what the fuck, what a train wreck. I can't stop laughing. This is bonkers. Yeah, just realizing that there's vampires, you know?
I did not know that there was so much of a community on Mal. This is very disturbing, I must say.
So who died? Is there still homolust? Homolust.
Was there ever?
I forgot how much. I mean, it's like you give the gay guys an inch, to take a mile. I mean, yeah, the show has a little bit of gay stuff, so it got I think this got kind of a reputation for being like pretty gay, but it's really not very.
Oh, it's like there's been like one.
Yeah. But I forgot how much the word homolust used to be used.
Yeah.
Vampire nanomachines. It's an exact clone of 0079 and Seed.
Geez, this person is making friends on Mal as of yesterday.
Nice.
This person's shit is popping off. Damn,
Very
this
active.
is a Mal social butterfly.
Sure.
What the fuck am I looking at here? What is this?
I was looking through these threads. It surprised me how many people actually thought Shoko died. Like that really.
Oh, in the first episode?
In the first episode. Like there were really people who thought that, like, damn, they killed the best girl in the first episode. Man, that sucks. Dropped. like, dude, come on. Okay, so this is, I think, after it aired. Mecha Fujo shit. It's really not that gay.
They're really slapping that out there as if it's like a primary characteristic of the show.
I know.
Valvrave is pretty much the normal Gundam anime, only with a twist being that you need to be a vampire in order to pilot the superior mechs. The story would be perfectly fine if they took Gundam Seed and fast-forwarded a few hundred years or more. Anyway, if you've watched Gundam Seed, Gundam Seed Destiny, or Gundam Zero Zero, you'll feel right at home. Plot-wise, it's good. It's not obvious, it has some twists to it, but nothing too special. The story isn't the highlight, but it'll keep you wanting more. OP and ED songs fit well. Art is great. Mech's looking new and won't disappoint. Characters are relatively normal, but I wouldn't mind having a Kira type of personality instead of a weak to strong progression that the MC exhibits. For enjoyment, well, like I've said, if you've liked and seen the Gundam Seed series along with Gundam Zero, then this will be the next anime in line. Overall, I'd give it a biased 8.5 due to being a Gundam fan. The formula is relatively the same here. Seems as if a vampire was just added in as a test project or to stir up more drama, but it remains a Gundam anime at heart. This guy's really hammering home the Gundam thing. Jesus Christ.
I mean, maybe if you've seen a lot of... This must be very Gundam-ish because there's so many Gundam comparisons. You know, I wonder if CG got worse because everyone's saying the CG is bad. And if it looks good to me now, I wonder if anime mech CG got like really like even like lower, like cheaper.
For mech CG that I can remember, so like it must be pretty atrocious now. Then, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, I'm thinking about like how the God. What the hell is the name of it? Video game adaptation with a really complex name last season.
Video game adaptation with a really complex
Nier Automata. Nier Automata.
That's not a
like
very
the mechs in that look with
the
the colon, but the mechs in that look like fucking complete garbage.
Oh yeah, like, compared to yes, absolutely.
All right, I'm gonna find one more review and then I'm gonna call it. Let's see. Okay,
Gundam
here you go.
with vampires. Code Geass done right. I like that's one of the
Got him.
Whoever thought this would be a good idea? What the flying fuck?
Okay, this is a review from Rosie X Kid. Some people may not know this, but the reason why I started seeing Valvrave was because of the fact that Katsura Hoshino designed the characters. D. Grayman author, another show I love. Do notice this show is R+17 equals profanity and violence, and I mean a whole lot of it. I am a Mecha fan ever since Full Metal Panic, Code Geass, Guilty Crown, Broken Blade! Exclamation point! What can I say? The story is really interesting that you have got to see, and hopefully get interested. Many mysteries in the first and throughout the anime. Some may be answered. Some are saved until the next season, which is soon. The art by Katsura Hoshino is awesome. Nice to know her art has changed and done so beautifully. Sund is really awesome. TM Revolution Cross Nanamizuki make want to see the opening over and over. It did for me. Same thing for the endings by Angela and Elisa. Both endings are awesome. I must say, the sounds do not fail in this show. Characters. Did you not something over happen? Okay, whatever. Most of them are similar. Did I tell you that one is a pop idol and she sings in one episode? You have bright, serious, happy, shy, love triangle, friendship, betrayal, hatred, mysterious, angry, revenge, avenge, loneliness, sorrow kind of characters, and maybe even more. The enjoyment is really high up. once you get to the ending and get to re-see it again to know and finally understand it. I had some questions. Hold on. I had some of my questions are answered after Threshold ends and starts again. The music, art design, story is so worth my time. And I hope it is for you too. It's a great way to get into a new era of mecha. I thought it would just be a mecha, but throughout the anime, it changed and it was nothing like I thought it would be. It is a mixture of mecha, romance, action, supernatural drama, and something else you didn't expect. I enjoyed it. It is a really interesting, and it really gets you into the plot and wanting to know more and more. Overall, 10 out of 10. For the art, music, action-packed. For not leaving me in the best part, enjoyment, and for not letting me waste my time on a mecha again. I walk ways, thinking way ahead of things. Glad I gave Kakumeiki Valvrave a chance. Thanks for reading. Hope you enjoyed as much as I did. Good luck!
Oh, yeah.
And I think I did enjoy that as much as this person did. I think I might have. Oh.
There's motion at my front door.
Oh my god. It's a ghost. It's a good vampire ghost.
It probably is.
This person lives in Chicago. Jesus, this person supports a lot of couples. Do you want to know some of the couples that they support before I go to bed?
Like shipping? I know about shipping.
Yeah. There's a lot. I'm gonna copy. I'm gonna copy paste this list so you can get it here.
Oh man. Okay, I just want to read some of the posts from after the second episode aired, because that is where it gets good, because that's where like Shoko busts out of the car and everything. Is this a joke? Are they serious? Best girl lives. Dropped. Called it. He must have given her quite the dicking, referring to the scientist.
Okay. All right.
There's a picture of Heath Ledger Joker with the text, haha, oh wow. This is hilarious. I told you fuckers, beam cannons are for killing mechas, not girls. I knew she wasn't dead, but how the fuck was she in that car? Your face when Dashoko wins the Valvrave. This show is officially a joke. The sense of danger is gone.
Oh boy. All right, I'm calling it. I'll call it. We did 3 hours. I did my time. All right.
Okay.
It's been a pleasure serving with you in the Valvrave conquest of 2023.
Yep. Very exciting stuff. Okay.
We should go out on the idol song.
Yes, that is the one I had queued up.
Perfect.
Okay. Thanks for listening to a podcast,
Bye-bye.
everybody. Bye. This is this song they sing in the show for no reason.
忘れたりあの子と喧嘩をしたりそっとついてない日もあるんだけど美味しいご飯を食べてふざけた仲間と過ごすそんなことで僕らまた明日頑張れるさ Good luck for you for you
Okay, wait, hold on. I just remembered this post that I saw earlier. Is it thread? Is it Valvrave thread? Someone goes, so the MC is so beta, even his mech wants to kill himself?